Listen,
Did you see the thumbnails I sent you?
I genuinely tried. I did see them. I genuinely tried to create the film poster with Emily Blunt and everybody, but it was really hard, and eventually I gave up, and I just went with the alien. We are recording, by the way, so anything you say can and will be used against you in a
Oh,
court of law.
really? Wow, we were started recording so fast. Screenwriter David Coop says Steven Spielberg wanted Disclosure Day to be his best script yet. You did a bad job then, David. What a bad job you did.
You know, it's funny because Spielberg didn't even write Disclosure Day.
I know that the guy that I just said did.
Oh,
Well,
I
at least he
understand
was
what you're
the
saying.
one of the screenwriters. David Coop.
I mean, maybe it was his best script yet. We don't know what else he's made.
Jaws. Supposedly Jaws
No,
is
no,
good.
David Coe, whatever his name is.
Oh, I'll look him up.
Oh, I
David.
wanted this to be my
David
best
Cope.
script. What else has he made? Maybe this
Oh,
is
he's funny
the
looking. He
best.
he looks so familiar. Secret Window, stirs Jurassic World Rebirth.
Oh
Uh-oh.
boy. Oh Christ alive. Why would you hire him?
uh uh well, oh, he made Jurassic Park, so he probably wrote Jurassic Park. Oh, Indiana
Yeah, but that's
Jones.
cheating though because Jurassic Park was a book before it was a movie. So you can't really how much credit
Yeah.
can you take for that, right? As a
Snake
writer?
Eye.
Which
It
Indiana
looks like this is
Jones?
just the guy who writes for Steven Spielberg. Kingdom of the Crystal Skull
Oh, the
and the
shitty
new
one?
one.
Oh, the shitty ones.
Oh.
Okay. Wow, this guy really
War
just
of the War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise.
what a
Uh,
fucking
Spy
stinker of a resume.
the OG Spider-Man.
I actually haven't
The
seen it.
OG Mission Impossible. You haven't
That
seen the
one,
original
the
Spider-Man?
original Mission Impossible, that was kind of like that was like an action slot movie. They got
Yeah.
better and then they got worse.
Uh,
Well, really, they
this
got
movie
worse and
is
then they
also
got better
action
and then they
slot.
got worse. No!
What just
A
happened to you?
complete and utter disaster. And we're back. I oh my goodness, that was terrible.
What
I
did you
rather
get?
I rather recklessly picked up my glass of milk and
Oh
I
no!
lost the glass of milk. The milk within the glass was forsaken.
It
Something
was freed.
never has never has a milk accident of that scale happened in my life. But I guess that's what happens when you drink so much milk. Eventually,
Yeah.
you're bound to have some sort of milk-related disaster.
That's why I drank my milk before we started the podcast.
From now on, I'm putting the milk in little bottles.
I was
I'm gonna get a
ruthlessly
baby
flamed
bottle.
last night for being a milk enjoyer.
Why would people flame you for
They
drinking
hated on
milk?
me because they're haters.
Milk
One of
is
them
so
drinks
healthy.
2% milk,
Okay.
which is disgusting
I
in
drink
my
skim
opinion.
every once, well, not every once in a while, most of the time, because I'm trying to, keep the calories down.
Yeah, but like there's I hate skim with all of my heart, but there is an
It's not
understandable
great. It's
reason
better than
to
no milk.
drinking skim milk. But why would you ever drink 1 or 2%? If you drink skim if you're trying to, lose weight. I myself as a fat shed drink whole milk because I enjoy life
Yeah,
and
because
happiness.
you're built like a telephone pole, whereas I'm built like a beach ball. So,
Uh, Disclosure Day, guys. The
right,
movie,
yes, we've just disclosed our physiques. Very good.
yeah. It's
Well,
Disclosure Day.
I wanna
This
preface
movie.
this. I want to preface this by saying, this year and really just in general, we've seen a lot of different kinds of slop, right?
Yeah.
We have had action slop, which is what most of it is, and this year we had The Mandalorian and Grogu.
Uh-huh.
We have had like indie slop
Horrors. Yeah,
in the
indie
form
slop.
of The Backrooms, which is basically only liked because it is indie. Let's be honest.
Yeah. And because of the yellow rooms.
Now we have a third kind of slop, which I have coined the term theme slop, which is you might hear that and be like, isn't kind of the point of slop that it's sort of made to not really have Like, well, it doesn't really have thematic ambitions so much because it's kind of just made to please the crowd. Well, dear viewer, what if I told you that a certain movie was made purely for the purpose of having a theme, and it didn't really have that theme. It had
So
a ghost of a theme.
we'll talk about the theme a lot, and because we're gonna do a scene by scene like we normally do. So Steven Spielberg is the guy who made this movie, and he is Jewish. And I have seen multiple
Wait, hang
comments.
on. Before you before you continue on here, where are you going with this?
I'm just gonna say something he said.
Okay, okay, okay.
Uh,
Go for it.
so he is a practicing Mossad agent. But anyways, sorry, I'm
What?
getting
What?
sidetracked. He has made multiple comments about Disclosure Day, saying Disclosure Day will be the movie that makes Catholics and Protestants and Orthodox question their faith because he said it will rock their worldview. That was the point of Disclosure Day from Steven Spielberg's perspective.
Okay, so I'm an atheist and you're evangelical. All right, were either of our worldviews rocked?
Uh, I kind of wanted to kill myself, which goes against my worldview. So maybe a little
Was
bit.
it that bad? Was it really that bad?
It was just boring.
Was
It
it
was
as it wasn't as
annoying and it was
I
insulting.
gotta say, this movie, it wasn't as boring as The Backrooms. It wasn't as
Nowhere
bad
near.
as Mandalorian and Grogu. Uh,
It was just insulting. It was so insulting sitting here watching this, and they're like, "Look at the stuff." It's like the whole movie is just them like sucking their own cocks, and like, look, there's aliens. Oh my gosh. I don't care. You haven't made me care about anything
it has
because you
very high ambitions of being deep that it sort
and
of never really
fail.
hits. It's like a
Uh,
it's like if the pool is deep, but then you go down, and instead of like the pool actually being deep, there's just like a mirror underneath the water that makes it look like it goes way deeper. You just hit the mirror and hurt your head because you dived in. Yeah,
So
that's
for
kind of how this
for
movie is.
context, this movie has a 6.7 out of 10 on Disclosure Day on IMDb, I'm sorry. And it box officed to 160 million worldwide, but it needs 300 million to break even.
What was the budget?
Uh well, I don't know what the budget is, but it says the break even point is 300 million. And then
It's probably
oh
closer to
my gosh.
400. They always underestimate these
They've
things.
added another 80 million into marketing though.
Oh dear lord.
Yikes.
Why? They're trying to save it, but they're not going to.
It had a
This movie
$115
has
million
not
dollar
been
budget.
reviewed well at all. Even Goblin said he doesn't like this movie, and Goblin doesn't have too many brain cells left to figure this sort of thing out.
uh, this is terrible news for Steven Spielberg. Is this going to be is this going to be his last movie? Is that a thing?
I don't know if it's going to be his last movie. It's his first movie. It's come out in a while.
No, it's not his last movie. It's just his most recent release.
All right.
Okay.
Well, I
I
gotta
hope he
say,
doesn't
man,
make any more movies.
I saw the trailer for this movie, and I thought it looked pretty. Thought it looked pretty cool. I liked the kind of creepy vibe of the part of like the shot where she's doing the weather and it looks like she's just gotten possessed and she's doing all this clicking stuff and some of the lines. It's a very very good trailer, very well done trailer, and I was like, oh wow, that looks cool. I'll go see it. And then we went to see it, and I remember thinking, wow, this is like a tremendous waste of a really cool concept. But then I realized something. I realized, wait a minute, it's not a waste of a concept. There was no cool concept ever. It was just a waste of a good trailer.
Yeah. I was under a completely wrong impression from this movie because, like, I watched the trailer and it's called Disclosure Day. I really thought it was about like the rapture, which I was confused
Why would that
why.
be? Why
Just
would
because
it be
like
called
I
Disclosure
thought that
Day?
the
The
I don't
rapture,
know.
bro.
I don't know why it would be called Disclosure Day. I just first I see the lady speaking in tongues. I see all the people. I don't know. For some
Okay,
reason, I thought it was about the rapture,
you're a bit
and then it was
behind, I
about
think, because
aliens.
Disclosure Day is a very popular term that means the day that the government tells us about the aliens.
Really?
Yeah, there was literally a movie that came out called Alien Disclosure Day before this movie.
What?
I haven't
Why did
I
that
haven't
movie
seen
come
it.
out?
I don't know. I haven't seen
What?
it, but when I was looking for this movie online, that one came up as well. Alien Disclosure Day. Maybe it's
I have a
better.
feeling this scene by scene will take a long time,
It's a
or it won't take
really
a long
there's a
time.
lot of stuff in this movie. It's one of those
It's
movies. It's not a
yeah.
back rooms.
So we should probably jump into
Should
it.
probably get crack-a-lackin', dude.
Yeah, let's get
I
crack-a-lackin'.
gotta say,
Disclosure Day.
how sad I am to be talking about Disclosure Day and not talking about Hokum, which
Yeah, I want to talk about Holcomb
that movie
again.
was
I don't want
pretty
to talk.
pretty cool. That movie was pretty
It
cool.
was good, and I'm recommending it to people because it was better than Obsession.
Yeah, one of those
Anyways,
situations where I don't think the highs are quite as high as Obsession, but it's more consistently good throughout.
yeah. Okay, Disclosure Day. We open with a fight in a boxing ring, and there's people cheering for
Well,
the
they're
WWE
wrestling.
stars. They're wrestling. They're wrestling, and there's a guy, and he's got a backpack on, and he's looking around all frantically. And this is our main character. I don't remember what his name is, but I'll find it somewhere in my notes later.
Dude, I don't
And
remember his name either. What the hell? Did the aliens
Alf
wipe our
Wolf.
brains? Jesus Christ.
uh, but he's looking around all frantic like, well, I guess you have notes for this beginning part of it because you were like, "I'll take notes in the first hour
Yeah,
and
and
a
I
half,
kind of
and you
gave
take
up.
notes in the second." Yeah, you gave up,
And
so
with the
I picked
impression,
up
like,
the
I'll watch it
torch.
again, and then, well, life happened.
Yeah.
Wasn't able to.
Uh.
Oh, man.
Oh darn. Oh gee. Oh golly. I'm
Yeah,
so
the
upset I
person
didn't get
behind
to
him
watch
says,
Disclosure
a
Days.
person behind him says, let the backpack slip off next time we all stand, basically.
Next time a WWE thing happens.
And everyone's going to jump up. He's going to let the backpack slip off his back, and the kind of the freaky guy behind him is going to steal it. And he says, do you want to see her again or not? Relax, enjoy the match. Because they have, and whoever they is apparently some sort of crazy corporation or organization or government. I was thinking government at this point, but we'll find out later that it was company, which is something that's happened before.
Do you like Company Phil more or Company Bad more?
I think I like company
Company
bad.
Phil. Really?
I think
I
I
like
prefer
Company
company
Phil more.
bad. Company Phil
At
was
least
kind of
Company Phil
boring.
saves you. He saves you
Oh,
from the
oh, you
back
mean
rooms.
like them in terms of like would I grab a beer with them or like
Yeah.
oh sure yeah company Phil probably hang out with him first because he seems like a nice guy but like
He
as a
does seem
character I
pretty chill.
prefer the guy in Disclosure Day.
Okay, that's fair. I guess Company Phil isn't really a character. He's just Company
Yeah,
Phil.
he's very boring. The guy in this movie is I kind of liked him actually, but we'll get to that. Anyway, the company has kidnapped uh Mr. Main character's lady friend. They're holding her hostage to get him to give them back the contents of the backpack. Uh,
Bum, bum,
which we
bum.
then cut to, well, after he gives the backpack up, anyways. We cut back to them in the back of a van. And there's a girl who has the backpack, and she's counting up basically quantities of, like, data that are in the backpack.
Yeah.
There's
They're like
600
USBs, but they're all
flash
floopy
drives.
like. Yeah.
They're called flash drives, you child.
Are they called flash drives?
Well,
I
maybe. I
guess
don't
they
know.
are.
There probably were some flash drives.
They're space flash drives because they're not
Space
they're
space
special.
drives.
You need a special USB-C port for them or
But we're
whatever.
starting to get an understanding already. This is stuff he's stolen from them. They have it
Yeah.
back, and now they're taking inventory of all the different stuff. Now he gets brought in, And the evil villain guy, I kind of like him. He's got an interesting voice. He's like, "Well, this is all rather disappointing."
He does sound like that.
Oh well, put down the
Well, this
device.
is not very good
Oh,
for me.
if you if you cooperate with me, I can make good things happen to you.
He's like Bane, but
Without the
more
mask.
human. Yeah,
That's why
without the
nobody
mask.
knows who he is.
Nobody knew who I was before I put on the mask.
Yeah, exactly. Um, well, he demands to know where Jane is, and they bring her out and push them both up against a wall. And then
Yeah.
the villain guy tells him, he's like, "Give me the names, all of them, and then you two can call a cop."
I hate the voice. And
I'm gonna do it
uh
for the rest of the episode.
of course you are. You do it so quietly though. You need to do it louder.
It's
I can barely
impossible to
hear
do it
you.
louder.
It's pretty hard.
It's a
Uh
difficult. I'll try. I'll try to project. Um,
uh
at this point in the movie, nothing like egregiously bad has happened, and I was still interested, I guess, in
he
what I
had
was
hope.
watching.
He had lots of hope. I remember you telling me you were like, I think this is gonna be good, and I was like, it's not gonna be good, I
I
promise.
did not say that. I said give it a minute. We don't really know what's going on yet. You're thinking of the trailer we saw for One Night Only is what the movie was called.
Oh yeah, you're right. You were
That
hyping that up.
that trailer, yeah, my sixth sense went off. Which, if my sixth
The
sense
bit
goes
about
off,
the
it's
sex
never
purge.
that my sixth sense has never been wrong. If I see a trailer or the first scene of a movie and I know the feeling, like it's impossible to describe. I'm just like, yep, this is gonna be a great movie, and it always is. It happened with Good Boy, it happened with Marty Supreme, and it happened with that trailer. So I'm pretty confident, pretty hopeful for that one. But it did not
I'm in an
happen with this one.
Instagram comment war with people who are silly
Hey,
right
don't pay
now, and
attention
it's
to them.
distracting me. I'm
Don't pay
sorry.
attention to them.
But
They're
you
looking
asked
for
for
a
the
MacGuffin.
names. Yeah, they're looking for the MacGuffin and they don't find the MacGuffin. This is terrible news. This is terrible news because the MacGuffin is called the device, and it's a little space dildo that has magic space powers. And that's all we can really say about it for right now, because that's what it
A
is.
little space dildo. Yeah. Except you should not use it as a dildo because that could have some pretty disastrous consequences.
I think you're just scared to live a little. And anyways, he pulls
Yeah.
out the space dildo from his pocket. He's had it in his pocket. And why I'm surprised that the first thing that the government man didn't look for in the bag or like because right, that's the main objective is acquiring the space
Yeah,
dildo.
they're counting up
And
all
he's
of the
like, "Give me
super
the bag."
data, but
Yeah.
they're not
Yeah,
immediately
why
being like,
that would
where is
be
it?
number
Where is
one
the device?
priority. Especially if the space dildo is in the bag somewhere as you guys are rummaging through it. It'd be like a bomb squad, wouldn't
Well,
it? Of like,
I guess the
you know,
data would also be extremely high priority, right? Because their main goal in this movie is to keep the public from finding out about the aliens, whatever the cost, because they think it'll destroy everything if people figure it out.
well, yes, my counterpoint would be like later when the space dildo is used to threaten people, it's like everybody just you don't move because if you squeeze it too hard, the space dildo will space rape all of us.
Hang on, can you hear me?
So it's like,
Yeah, you should be
yeah,
able to. Okay.
yeah, I can hear you. So it's like, why would they just be okay with like throwing this backpack around, rummaging through it if this space dildo is like gonna murder all of us if you touch it the wrong way?
Well, you have to squeeze it. It'd be kind of difficult to inadvertently squeeze it, maybe.
What if you drop it on the floor? I guess he drops it in the floor later and nothing happens.
Nothing
So
happens because the floor wouldn't be able to activate it because the floor is just that, a floor. Mm.
the floor can't get space raped. It's a good point. So the main man pulls out the space dildo and he threatens to space rape everyone. And our main man is like, everybody, put your guns down. We can't do anything. Because
Release your
the
grip
space
or you
dildo
might
is so
activate the
powerful.
device.
And Jane and main character man get in the car and they take all the data right back and they drive away.
It's
And
pretty.
then
It's pretty
is there
sick.
sick is a way to describe it, sure. Uh yep, that's that's what happens in that
Yeah.
scene.
So there's that
And
scene. There's a lot of mystery stuff happening, and we don't really know what's going on yet. So it all kind of works on the first viewing, and the second viewing you might just have a couple questions like, huh? Why aren't they? Yeah, why
yeah,
aren't they looking for the device? Why didn't they search him? Like pat him down, you know?
yeah. But they start driving away, and Jane's like, "Oh my gosh, you committed treason." And he's like, "No, I didn't. It's the government, and they're lying." And then
It's
he's like,
not the
"This car
government.
has a tracker in it." It's not the government, it's company, but I don't
Wardex
know.
is what they're called.
Yeah. It
Wardex versus
Wardix?
Async.
Oh, what a silly name. Uh, but the car has a tracker in it, he says, and they're waiting at her apartment, so they can't go back to her house and they have to go somewhere safe. And so he's putting the space dildo away while she's steering, and he calls a guy. And it's Hugo. And Hugo says, like, they need to send someone to get the bag. But Hugo said, or no, I'm sorry. Main character man is like, Hugo, I need you to send someone to pick this bag up because I'm not safe with it. They're gonna find me. I need somebody to come, you know, relieve me of it because it's very important. And Hugo's like, no, you should have it. And main man is like, what? I'm just a tech guy. I can't handle this stuff. And Hugo's like, no, you're ready. Now run and hide the girl somewhere safe, and then I'll send someone to help you.
Yeah, there's that bit where
Uh,
he's like, I'm a desk guy. I'm a tech guy. I'm not a
yeah,
field guy." And the movie definitely has its cake and eats it too with him because on the one hand they want to be like, well, he couldn't possibly have done X because he's not trained to do X. He's a lab guy. But then he does Y that only a experienced field guy would be able to do, and you know does all these crazy action feats as the movie goes on. You're like, make up your mind here. Is he like a super skilled operator, or is he out of his depth?
he's everything because he
He
is
is
infected with
simultaneously both.
aliens. But then the main man is like, I should just take all this and post it all online right now. And Hugo's like, no, that's a bad idea. And then, and then he hangs up, and main character man destroys the phone. And Jane's like, "What? What are you doing?" And he's like, "They're burner phones. We only use them once."
That pissed me off.
So, yeah,
It's
now we
like,
know that
yes,
they're burner
we
phones.
know what burner phones
And
are.
then he's like, "We
Like
need to go
remember
somewhere."
in Breaking Bad when Gus Fring calls Juan Bolsa on the burner phone and then he breaks it and throws it in the trash and he walks away menacingly and then he looks into the camera and he goes, "This is a burner phone. You only use it to call people once, and then you destroy it and throw it away." It's like we these things
Uh,
have been around forever. Everybody knows what they are. They're in all sorts of
yeah.
movies and TV shows. And if you don't know what it is, you can probably figure it out pretty quick.
But main character man is like, Jane, we need to go somewhere that we've never been before, that they never expect. And she's like, I know exactly where to go. And then we cut back to company. And company are upset because of a minor breach I have written down, but I'm pretty sure this is a quite catastrophic breach. Uh, but basically what's happened is on one day, company has had a bunch of high ranking, high security clearance individuals all no call, no show to work. And this is terrible because you're supposed to call when you aren't coming into work. It's very bad to no call, no show. You should never do that. It's bad.
Okay, wait a minute.
And then,
Wait, 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 just 1 minute. We need to figure this
what?
out. What is the
What are we
plan of.
figuring out?
Okay, let's say. Okay, the bad guys are Wardex, and the good guys
Uh huh.
are like the anti. Are like the ex Wardex faction, right?
Yeah.
What exactly
Uh huh.
is their plan? throughout this movie.
So
Okay, the
they've
order of
all
events is like, main character man steals all of the data and the device, and then all of them don't show up to work so that they can do what exactly?
so that they can go join their brigade. Why would they not just keep showing up to work?
Yeah, why would they not just keep showing up to work? Because now they've just drawn
Uh,
attention completely to the
yeah,
fact
they've
that
just outed all of them. I hope there wasn't one guy that just like slept in and he didn't show up
yeah,
and they all like raided his house and shot him.
killed him in front of his kids. Daddy.
He had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, why wouldn't they
I
just
guess
keep
what
going?
is their
They could have
plan?
just
Because
walked out of work like when the time comes instead of leaving or not showing
okay,
up right
here's
then.
another question. So they acquire 2 space dildos, but they leave the third one, and we learn later in the movie that all of the space dildos are kept in a little space dildo case in the company, which means to get them, they had to have broken into that space dildo case at least 2 times because Main Man didn't know that Hugo had one, which means they stole them on separate occasions. So why didn't they take the third one?
Maybe they did and they like dropped it while they were leaving and then somebody picked it up. Maybe that's what
That
happened
would
both
be
times. Like imagine this, right? We go there, we're gonna go steal those little devices. We steal all 3, and then we drop 2 of them and we leave with 1, and then we're like, shit, we gotta go back. And we go back and we steal the other 2, and then
and then you
and
drop
then
it
we
again.
drop it again, and they recover it, and then we're like, oh fuck, and we're gonna do it, but then the events
It's
of the
like
movie happen, and we don't have time anymore.
it's like in a video game when you lose a level and you just respawn back at the beginning of it and everything is completely the same.
It's
It's
like in
like
a video
the
game when you
company's just like,
die.
oh no, they stole our space dildos. Better put them back right back in the same place.
Yeah, it's like when you die and lose half of your XP. It's just we lose half of our
Or no,
space dildos that we stole.
no, it's like going back to play a game for the second time, but you're trying to like 3-star it instead of like 1 or 2-starring it. Instead of just trying to beat the level, you're actually trying to like 100% the game.
Yeah, like the first mission was like just acquire 1, and then there's multiple, but you just take 1 because that's what the objective is, and you leave the other ones. And then you realize
Yeah.
later on that you could have taken all of them and, and made use of them. So you go back to collect them, but for whatever reason you can only get 1 the second time. I don't know. Their plan is kind of weird. Let's all not
Maybe
show up
it's
to
like
work
capture the
so that we can
flag, how you're
go.
only allowed to take 1 flag at a time.
Let's not show up to work so that we can all go somewhere else and do nothing and just like abandon
Well,
our
they have to
friend who's
build
running
their
around.
religion house.
They could have done
They
that.
have to
And
build the holy house.
why do they have to build it? Just hire like a construction crew to do it. Be like, oh, we're
Because
shooting a movie. We need you to
the
build the
construction
house in
people
this
can't
warehouse.
know about the holy house. It's a secret holy house.
What danger could it possibly pose for the construction crew to know about the house?
What if they construct anti-holy objects in the holy house?
It's not. It's just a normal house. It's just meant to look like her house so that it reawakens her memories and flisms.
My notes
You,
for what happens next is I'm going to read it verbatim. It just says, the government knows Hugo did it. He did not show, and his desk is now clear. This disturbs government much. They are very surprised and angry.
I like how he bothered to
And
clear out
yep,
his
that's what
desk.
happens. He did.
It's like, well,
I don't know
my
why.
binders and my planner. I need that. Right there, it says disclosure day.
Oh, where's my
It's
Rolodex? I need
tomorrow.
that. uh,
I'll make sure to vacuum and dust for the next document. And yep, I'm ready to go.
my replacement would appreciate a lot if he had
Yeah,
a clean office.
the previous day, Hugo is like stealthily cleaning out his office so that nobody sees. He puts up a little privacy screen in the window, and the Wardex guys outside is like, Hugo, what are you doing in there, Hugo? Oh, nothing. I'm on a Zoom meeting. Oh, well.
I'm cleaning.
Yeah, you just hear the vacuum.
Oh, It would have been really funny if after this, the company man was just like,
I knew it.
"Wow,
I knew he was up to no good
I knew it.
yesterday
I
when he
knew
was
he was up
cleaning.
to no good. I heard him vacuuming all day yesterday. That's what the Swiffer was for." Uh, but
Shit,
we
dude, it's
cut back
closure
to
day.
the driving guys. We cut back to Main Man and Jane, and they drive over the lawn of this building. I don't know why they drive over the lawn. There was a road, but they chose to drive on the lawn instead.
It
And
was
it's a
shorter.
monastery,
You never do that. Like,
and it's a
just the drive's long. You save time where you can, right?
and you
Just cut
just
across a
drive
couple
over
lawns.
someone's lawn.
Yes, dude.
No, I've
Libertarian ethic
never
of
done
personal
that.
responsibility.
But they show up at the monastery and they knock on the door, and the Reverend Mother knows Jane. And Main Man is confused how they know Jane, and then we cut to Jane and the nun are like talking it up. They're all chatting and catching up, and he's sitting in the corner. Uh, and then Nun looks at the main character and says, "I won't ask any questions about you or what you're doing here, but I need to protect Jane. So you need to make sure you leave Jane out of this because she's not responsible for your bad decisions. And you need to keep yourself accountable and leave her out of it." And then we cut again
Kind of a
to
W
main.
speech from the nun, I guess. I like the nun. The nun's my favorite
Yeah,
character.
I like the nun too. But then we cut to the bedroom, the nun
The
bedroom,
nun
where
too.
main character man and Jane are having a sleepover, and he's mad at her for some reason
They're
that she
having a
never told
sleepover.
him that she lived in a monastery.
Yeah, why is he so? He's like, you
She's like
never told me you were a
very.
nun.
He's like,
It's
you.
like it's a big deal to him.
She's like, oh, you're just everything you do is you keep secrets.
You know, if I
Oh,
was like
and then
dating a
she's
girl kind
like,
of casually, and she revealed to me after a while that she had been a nun before, I'd be like, oh, kind of a unusual like oddity,
yeah.
but
But he
it's not gonna
really
make me
cares
be
about
weird
this
about anything.
secret. And he's like, "You're a liar and you keep secrets from me, and that's not good." And she's like, I was just kidnapped by a company because of you committing federal treason. And you never told me anything about that." And
That's a
he's
good
like, "Well, I
point.
had to protect you because of the truth." He's like, you couldn't, people deserve to know the truth. I'm doing the right thing."
Also,
And
why
then
did
he
she
does
lie
some
about
more.
being a nun? Is there a reason why she did that? Do we know?
Well, she didn't lie. She just didn't tell him.
I guess why didn't she tell him? I guess maybe he never
Because she
asked.
lost her faith.
Oh,
And she like lost her faith and her security, so she just doesn't like to talk about it. And he's like, "Grr, you never told me you were a
Samantha!
Catholic." uh, and then we get more exposition, and he's like, "I've worked for the government ever since I got out of prison." And she's like, "You never told me you were in prison." And he's like, "I
That's
went
a
to
much
prison
bigger
eight
deal than
years
being a
ago."
nun. That's a
uh,
much bigger deal, and that would be
yeah,
like,
and
wait,
he's like,
what? You're an ex-felon? Or, well, I guess you're just a felon.
yeah,
You're an ex-con?
like
All
he's
right.
like, I was recruited to the war decks directly after graduating from prison, and if what does this say? If prison the says the data isn't proprietary, and the people should not be restricted to the knowledge, and defends his actions, saying he is part of it and he's sorry he dragged her into it. And then we cut again.
What did you just say? No, I know what you mean though. He's he's
Basic,
basically like,
yeah,
I'm
he
trying to
was like,
expose these people. I have all this information.
yeah,
I'm not going to tell you what it is because it could put you in danger, but I'm going to make it public so that everyone knows it.
yeah, that's what he says. I just like I was typing too fast for my own good, and some of it came out as blorgle. But then we cut to Kansas City, the most interesting city in the country.
I do like Kansas City.
And
I do like Kansas City.
what is this?
It's not the most interesting, but I like it.
News report lady tells news hole. What?
Kansas City's
We
way
see
more
her get.
interesting than Disclosure Day. Can we talk about Kansas City?
They have the Chiefs. That's where Taylor
Yeah,
Swift's
I went and saw a
boyfriend
Chiefs
works.
game there once. It was a pretty good time.
Really?
Yep. Yep.
Nice. But the news report lady is getting ready. She's getting ready to go to work. She's doing her own makeup for some reason.
It's Emily Blunt,
And yeah,
and she's with John
and
Walker from the
from
Thunderbolts.
from Captain America. uh, so what is happening in this scene? She's getting ready and she's showing this news, or her boyfriend is watching her on the news,
She's doing an
and
audition,
he
basically. It's an audition tape.
yeah, and he well no, this is before the audition tape. She's like she's on the news and he's watching it and he's getting his jollies off because he likes the way she looks in her
Oh yeah,
news dress when
it's
she does her little
the
news
weather
dance.
thing. She does the news dance, and he's getting a boner about it.
Yeah.
The
And
weather
they like
jingle.
flirt and then she's like, "Did you watch my audition I sent you?" And he's like, "No." And so she makes him watch it, but it's a very bad audition.
It's pretty bad.
And he tells her like, "Oh my gosh, you're so good at acting. I love you." And she knows he's lying because he's bad at lying. Uh, and then he plays guitar for some reason. That did happen in the movie, didn't it? He just starts playing his guitar.
I, that's pretty awesome. Like your
I'm
like
getting I'm
your
getting
girlfriend
flash
gets mad at you, so you just pull out a guitar and just start strumming.
I'm getting flashbacks to the Barbie movie when
That's
with the bit of like, and then they play the guitar at you. Cause she's like, I'm mad at you for lying to me, and then he just pulls out his guitar and he's just like, I love you, and then she gets like,
it's really like the equivalent of telling a girl to calm down. It's just if she's mad, pulling out your guitar and just like playing a jingle.
yeah,
That would
uh,
infuriate me if I was in
yeah,
that position.
but basically he's like a snake charmer for women because she immediately calms down, and then she's like,
Does
we
she
should
start
move,
dancing?
and he's like, what? We just moved. And she's like, I want to go to a bigger city. I don't feel right in Kansas City. And then he's like, oh, you don't need to leave. We can make it work here. And then a bird flies through the window. A cardinal, to be specific. And the bird flies in and it looks at News Lady very strangely. And then she stands up and stares at it, and the boyfriend is just like, "Oh, there's a bird in my house."
He's so he's so comfortable with this bird just being in his house. I've never seen anyone be that chill.
Yeah.
Most people see a bird
And
in their
meanwhile,
house and they're
his
like, "What the
girlfriend,
fuck? Get out!" They get a broom and they're trying to beat it
yeah,
out.
and the girlfriend is like, it looks like she just got possessed because she did. And then he shoos the bird out, and then he doesn't acknowledge any of the weird stuff at all, and just shoos the bird away. And then his girlfriend starts speaking in Russian, and he's very confused. Why are you speaking in
All
Russian?
right,
And he starts yelling at her.
we
And
need
he's
to
like,
talk about the before you move on. We need to talk about Wardex again, and we need to not
Wardex?
really Wardex itself, but the ex Wardex crew. Is it a coincidence that they started stealing all the data and doing all this at like the exact same time that the aliens decided to start doing this with her? Or
Well, no,
did
Hugo's
they
working with the
collaborate?
aliens. The aliens told him to do it on this specific day.
Don't throw
It
him
was
to
planned by
work
the
today,
aliens.
Hugo. Clean out your desk, Hugo.
Hugo, we need you to clean out your desk for
Hugo, I
disclosure
am
day.
Sergeant Zorkington from Zunar 9 class. UFO.
Uh,
I'm gonna fly
yes,
up to her like a
they're
bird and possess her. Whoa.
the aliens planned it so that they could activate the sleeper agents at the same time that Hugo was doing Disclosure Day for maximum efficiency.
I see.
But
Is there any reason they didn't do this
but
sooner?
no. But News Lady is now Russian, and she doesn't speak Russian, so her boyfriend is very confused, and he's like yelling at her. He's like, "Go back to normal," and she's just speaking into him in Russian, and she's like, "What are you talking about? Why? What do you mean?" But he's hearing Russian. She doesn't realize.
One wonders
And then
why she's speaking Russian. Because every other time she speaks a foreign language, it's because she intuitively knows how to communicate with whoever she's talking to. But like
maybe he
he
has
just
Russian heritage.
but he doesn't speak Russian.
So,
Yeah, so yeah, exactly. So she would
uh,
this is just like a thing to be like Oh, look at that. She's speaking another
But
language.
but then she turns back to normal in English and she's like, I don't know what's going on with you. We'll talk about it later. I'm late for work. And then she runs out and she gets in her Maybach and she drives away.
It's not
And
a
she drives
Maybach,
away.
dude.
What didn't you? I thought you
It's a
said it was a
that
Maybach.
is that is a very
Or
so
no,
far from a
it
Maybach.
was
It's an Alfa
no.
Romeo,
It was an Alfa Romero.
and
Yeah.
those are not
Uh
not even close,
yeah.
dude.
Not the same
You
car.
could get a
Not the
used
same
Alfa
car.
Romeo for like 15, $20,000 on marketplace.
Yeah. This movie is draining my soul. But
Already,
she
we're still
drives
in like
off
the
to
first
work.
5 minutes.
I know. She drives away, and she drives too fast and she gets pulled over. And the cop shows up and he does not give a shit about her excuses. She's all like, "Oh, I was listening to a song and just got caught up in the moment." And he's like, "I don't care. I need you to step out of the vehicle."
That's a
And
terrible
she
excuse, by the way. If you
is
ever get pulled over, don't try it.
yeah.
Just accept your
But she's
fate and
like,
be
"I'm late for
nice, and they'll
work."
probably spare you.
Yeah, she's like, "I'm late for work. I really need to go. Please, please, please." And he's like, "The weather can wait." And then so he knows who she is, obviously, because she's famous. And then she looks him in his eyes and she's like, "It's not your fault. It's not your fault Anna got mad at home. She didn't mean any of those things she said. She just had a hard day." And then he's looking like he's terrified. he is he is terrified because obviously him and his wife got in a fight last night and that's why he's mad today. And then some random person you pull over, well, not even a famous person you pull
Yeah,
over
a
just starts
weatherman.
going like, "I know about everything." And he's all like terrified.
Yeah, he basically just
And
gets
then she
stun
just,
locked and lets her go, which
yeah.
is
And then she
not
drives
what would
away.
happen, by the way. If I that cop would be like, "Oh,
Yeah.
so you're stalking me and my family. All right, step out of the vehicle."
Well, no, I know what would really happen. You start doing that, and then all of a sudden, bam, 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 bam. That's what would really be
Why would that be
happening.
what would happen? If
Dead.
I was a cop and somebody started like telling me my intimate details from the like very recent past, I would assume that that person was stalking me for some reason and I would arrest them.
Because a cab.
No, because that's what? You're allowed to not let people stalk you.
Yeah, so he would shoot her, is what I'm saying.
You've
He would
done
shoot her dead.
you've taken power and used it for evil.
Yes, I have. This is what happens when you give me a podcast, Mike. I say things.
I suppose that's
But nope,
true.
he lets her go. He gets stun locked, and that will happen to every single person who interacts with her in this movie.
Sometimes it makes
Uh,
sense, but this time
yeah.
I don't think it made any sense. I think she should have
So
been
she gets
arrested right
there.
there.
She gets there, and we get more world exposition where there's a really big war going on, and everyone is like, this is the biggest thing that's happened to America since the Cuban Missile Crisis. Uh, and so this is a big deal. And she's rushing through while her boss is like, "You idiot, you're late. You need to be here for your segment. It's important. It has to be shortened because of all of the war stuff that's going on."
How late was she running
And
that
then
getting pulled over by that cop for like a minute tops turned it from routine to crisis mode?
I don't understand why any person who works in media is not there doing like prep with the media crew
Yeah.
long before the actual news starts.
You're meant to show up
Like
like
what?
5, 10 minutes early to your standard issue job. This is like a real career job. You should be there very early, especially like media.
Well, not even that.
You need
Like
to
if
like
you are
put
working
on
as a
makeup,
news reporter,
get all
to
that,
my
get your
knowledge, your
script.
job is not just going on camera. You are in meetings for hours before your segment is going on where they're like, "This is all the news stuff that's going on. This is
Well,
all this."
maybe
You're
not if
going
you're
over
the weather
stories. You're
woman.
going over all. I would say that the meteorologist should be with other meteorologists talking about the weather.
The
You
meteorologist would,
like
not the weatherman. The weatherman just gets a script and he's like, "Well, it's gonna fucking rain over here today, and you might want to bring
our
your
our
umbrella. It's gonna warm up around this time." They just get a script. But even so, they should be getting there early to get handed a script and learn it and She needs to put on makeup there because she always does it there instead of at home for some reason. I don't
Yeah,
know. I
which
feel
is
like you
weird,
would
even
want to
though
be there
later
like
she'll put it
30
on
minutes
it
early,
there.
and worst case
I
scenario, you
think
get
I
pulled
think you are
over and you're there for like
vastly
5 minutes.
underestimating what people do in media. I would assume that they are there hours before they
I'm,
actually go on
dude.
for other stuff.
It's the weather person. It's not that deep. The other media maybe.
But da, 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 and then she's like, I just got pulled over and I just started talking. And then all of a sudden, I said all this stuff and I don't know what I said, but it got me out of the ticket. And she's like going on. And then she goes up to a Korean guy who's there, who's like a Korean ambassador because of the war. And she goes up to him and she starts speaking in Korea to him. And she's like, you guys are mistranslating what he's saying. He's not saying da 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 da. He's saying da 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 da
Okay,
da.
so
And then
here's the
everybody's
theme
looking at
slop,
her like
right?
she's crazy.
The theme slop is here.
Uh
It's
huh.
arrived. So World War III, I guess, is happening, or at least we're on the verge of it, right? Somebody is starting some hostilities. It hasn't been this bad since the Cuban Missile Crisis, and we're getting there. We're getting real
Yeah.
close to blowing each other up. And this Korean guy is here, and I think it's implied that whatever he is saying is being interpreted as inflammatory, and like worse things are going to happen because people don't really understand what he means because of the language barrier. But because she has the superpower of empathy and understanding, is able to understand what he's saying, translate it, and then diffuse some of the tensions. So the movie's basically trying to be like, wow, if we all had empathy for each other, there would be no war, which you don't really need to watch this. Just go take some
Just go do some psychedelics.
just go eat some magic fungus. You'll figure that one out yourself, man.
Yeah.
And you'll
And
have
then
way
she
more
goes
fun.
up to the makeup lady. She goes up to the makeup lady and she looks at her and she goes, you've taken enough of his abuse. You have to protect her. It's time for you to call the cops. And then she walks away.
That would fuck me up, dude.
Yeah.
Somebody who
And then
knows
she
nothing
goes
about
on
me
to the
just walks up to
news.
me and says that.
She goes up and she's like, it's time for the weather. And then she starts hyperventilating. And then she goes, and nobody stops this at all. They're just like, oh, and then they
Well,
go, cut to the other one.
what would you do?
Cut to the news. And then she passes
I
out.
think I'd be pretty much stunned for a minute. I'd be like, what the fuck is going on? And then eventually I'd kind of come to my
Yeah.
senses and be like, okay, cut to something else.
Yeah. But then yeah, she passes out and we cut back to our people. It's Main Man and he wakes up in the monastery and he sees that there's a car outside waiting for him. So he explains to Jane that he's like, I have to leave, but I'll come back. And he gets in the car to go leave and it's a guy. And then Jane gets in the car and she says, "Nope, I'm going with you." And so he's like, "Okay." They don't try and stop this civilian at all. They're just like, "Okay, come on." Which that's weird. Why would you not stop the civilian woman who
Because
explicitly your main
she says something really convincing, which is you don't need to tell me everything yet, but that time is coming. And she says it with such force of personality and charisma that it just floors them, and they take her with them.
This is the movie equivalent of a nat 20 charisma check. Charisma
Yeah,
check.
she pretty much hit
Persuasion check.
that persuasion intimidation check.
Yeah. And the DM is
And
like, I will let you succeed no matter what, even if you do a very unconvincing thing, because you rolled a nat 20.
speaking of which, I think charisma, this is my hot take on D&D. I think charisma shouldn't even really be a score. I think it should be a score for the purposes of spell casting. But really it should just come down to like what words are you saying? And are they convincing?
I agree and I disagree, because I think that there should still be dice involved, but I think that they should just prove the effectiveness of what you're saying. They should be like the enhancement. So obviously in nat 1, like you can be as charismatic as possible, but it's going to be really hard to talk your way out of this situation, right? It's basically trying to say what is the situation
Uh,
of how good your words need to be to affect. your
But
outcome that you
it's
desire.
just situational though. Like what if
Exactly.
it
That's what
is
the dice are
what
for.
if I as a player literally say like the best thing possible in a situation that would work the best way it possibly could, and then I roll a nat one. Just like, oh, okay.
Sometimes it'd be going that way, dude.
Anyway, that's neither
Sometimes,
here nor there.
sometimes the IDF just blow your leg off.
That has happened to
Sometimes
some
they just
people.
drop phosphorus on your boat.
On my boat, dude. Honestly, probably the best place to get phosphorus dropped on you. You're surrounded by water.
Base.
Of all the
Uh,
places to get
anyways,
phosphorus dropped on you.
they bring Jane with them. And main man calls Hugo, and Hugo's like, "Don't worry, you're in good hands with Santiago. Don't worry." And then main man is worried, and he's like, "No, no, we're da da da." And Hugo's like, "Nope, you're safe. You're going to a safe house." And then we
Why don't
cut
they
to
go
company
straight to the warehouse?
because that would be smart.
Just go there. It's fine. Just go there.
They can't
And
know about the holy house. Damn it!
they
The holy house
absolutely
must be
can.
kept secret.
Okay, just have them put a blindfold on and walk through the warehouse to a place they can be, and then
Yeah, it
take it
doesn't make
off.
any sense why they don't go there. Everything would have just worked. It would have just been good.
Yeah, imagine
But they don't do that.
nobody doesn't show up to work. They all go in like normal, and then they just have him get driven to the warehouse and dropped off. Like, how's Wardex gonna find him?
Yeah.
And that's a great question.
But
How is Wardex gonna find him? And we'll find out because
space dildo.
it really, God, it sucks. It really sucks. That
Yeah.
whole bit.
So uh then we cut to government. Real government this time, military government.
Whoa.
And government is very mad at company because company has failed to keep the information disclosed or closed. And government says, "We must deploy the FBI." But the company says, "No, no FBI." And then the company sees the news. I don't know why they don't want the FBI. By the way, why
Well,
wouldn't the
he
why?
says it. He says basically, I don't want a bunch of field agents who aren't trained properly in like this technology that we're dealing with to be out there because they could cause more harm than good. And I
I
kind
would
of
wager that.
begrudgingly accepted that in the cinema. It's like, all right, fine. At least you
But
tried
then
as a writer. Other writers would have just
then
not tried at all.
yeah, then they see the news report of the lady speaking alien, and this is very bad.
It's
Although
terrible.
this is much confusing because news broadcasts are recorded on like a multiple minute delay, so they can cut things and bleep things and add special effects and stuff. So why did that even make it? Why wasn't there just like a "we're very sorry, news weather won't be reporting"? But
Um,
let's maybe in this
I
world they
don't
do
know,
it
man.
completely live, which would be
Which would be
terrible if anybody
terrible.
ended up saying slurs
They
on
just
the
wouldn't do
news.
it. They just wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
It's probably because she's so empathetic and persuasive that during the
That
news
she
broadcast she
empathized them
persuaded
into
them
it.
to leave it in.
Maybe that must be true. And he's like, "We must capture her. Where is that?" And they're like, "Kansas City." And then we cut to News Lady, and she's getting an MRI, and they're like, "Don't worry, you'll be safe." And then we cut away from her to Santiago and Main Man and Jane again, and they're at a safe place. They're at the safe house, and they
The
this
not
this
safe house. The
this thing
dangerous house.
happens where they walk into the house and then they look to the right and there's a herd of elk standing directly outside of their house looking through this giant like almost floor to ceiling wall to wall window. How did you not see this herd of elk when you were walking into the house? I don't know,
Well,
but they
actually,
see it now.
I know. Those aren't
How do
elk.
you know?
They're aliens.
That's not how the aliens work, dude.
Yes, it is.
You're getting a
They take
grave
on.
misunderstanding.
That's literally what he
You're
says. That's
misunderstanding.
literally what he says in the scene. Is they take on the likeness of animals to calm us down.
Uh, No, that's not what he says in this scene. I'll tell you what he says in this scene, but I know that's not how it works because we know that you can see the aliens from multiple perspectives. They don't just teleport. And we
Yeah, they were
also
hiding
know
around the corner of the house.
no, they
I,
weren't. They were just sitting there in the field. And it's also
then they walked
never
out. They
confirmed.
walk
It's
up to
never
the. You're
confirmed.
reaching. You're
It's
trying to find a
never
problem because you don't
shut
like
up.
this movie. You don't have to try.
No, it's
There's
never
plenty.
confirmed that this is a herd of aliens.
It is
And if
though.
it was,
It is
no,
though.
it's not.
The
He just
reason
makes a comment about the
the
aliens.
reason that
It
James, the reason that the animals look at people is because they are aliens wearing an animal costume to
so
basically
an
calm you
animal.
down.
I can literally walk up to a deer where I live. I can pet them. Are they
Sure.
aliens?
But are these like do they often stand in groups and stare through windows at you?
Yes,
They're
they
definitely
do it all the
aliens. They're
time.
100%
They scare the
aliens.
hell out of me.
And like I don't even know why. I think you're just coping right now.
No, the reality is this is if they were all aliens, this would also be the largest. This is like 40 aliens.
There's like 4
That
of
would
them.
be a significant. No, there's like it's a herd of elk. There's like 10 of them at least.
Hey,
Or I guess they're
hey, I
deer,
just
even though
looked it
they're
up.
not deer at
The
all.
elk and other magical animals such as the fox, raccoon, and cardinal are actually gray aliens using disguises.
Okay, so that entire herd of deer was aliens. Confirm that for me, you bastard. It isn't confirmed. He just makes a comment about aliens and then they run away. Because he says, she looks at him and she's like, oh my gosh, a herd of deer. And he says,
Okay, I'm literally looking at the
they
picture
run
of the
when you
scene right
reach for the
now.
camera.
I'm looking at the scene right now. There are 4 of them.
I don't believe you.
Do you want me to
But he
send it to
says,
you? I can happily do that.
he says they stand there staring at you and then you reach for the camera and they run.
Here, check the
And then
text.
she says, I'm not checking the text.
There's
But she's
what,
like,
what is
what's
wrong with you, dude?
You didn't even send me anything,
It
you
just
lying
delivered. It
bastard.
had to upload.
Okay, it still hasn't sent to me, so you're a liar.
It says delivered
But
on my end. It'll get to you eventually. There are literally 4 aliens. Editor, put the picture in the video. Editor, as in me.
I'm still unconvinced. But anyways, after he makes his comment about the camera, Jane is like, "What's going on?" And Main Man says, you won't believe me if I tell you, so I'll show you." But then we cut back to News Lady, and she is out of the MRI, and the doctor is like, "You're perfectly healthy. I don't know what's wrong with you." And she's like, "This is weird."
Oh, his name is
Da da
Daniel,
da
by the way,
da.
the main character.
Huh? Oh, his name's Daniel?
Yeah. Guided by a colleague, Hugo, he and his girlfriend, Jane, are led to an isolated farmhouse to hide out. Jane is surprised to see a herd of deer gazing intently at them from the backyard. Daniel has a more unusual response, as if he's seen this before. Why aliens appear as animals. Both Margaret and Daniel were contacted by aliens when they were children. The aliens chose to appear as a red cardinal, a deer, and a fox, which led them to the
I'm
fairy tale
not
house
saying
in
that
the
they
woods.
can't turn into deer.
But they
I'm
are.
saying
Why would random deer do this? Like in the story, why would they put this in the movie if that wasn't what it was supposed to be? What is your
because
theory?
it's slop, and they're trying to like
I
give
don't
us a
think-
weird.
I don't think they just put it in there for no reason. I don't think they did that. Even Slop doesn't just do shit for absolutely no reason most of the time. And call attention to it. They called
Tarantino
attention
slop
to it.
does.
They called attention
No,
to it.
they put a herd of deer there so they could have some exposition about aliens, so that they could have the thing where he says they stare at you and then they run when you reach for the camera. But these deer don't run when they reach for the camera; they just run.
They're aliens.
Bada bing, they're normal deer.
I think they are. I think you're being stubborn because you don't like the fact that you've been proved wrong, and I understand. Trust me, I understand. I know why you're upset.
You're gonna die a terrible death one day.
We're all
and
gonna
no
die.
one's gonna
You're
remember
gonna get
you.
mauled by a herd of deer.
Shut up. But anyways, we're back at the doctor's office, and the doctor tells the news lady that she's fine, and the news lady's like, "What the heck?" She's like, "My dad has Parkinson's. Did you test for stuff like that?" And the doctor lady starts asking her questions, and then we see the suit men standing outside,
The suit men. Yeah,
Uh,
that's good.
yeah, it's company, and they're disguised as FBI because good way to disguise, I guess. And as the doctor's talking, news lady's like, "Who are they?" And the doctor's like, "Oh, those are FBI. They're going to ask you some questions." And then she looks at them all, and her eyes change colors, and she goes, "They aren't FBI." Uh, and then the doctor's like, "Have you ever had therapy, or any really traumatic experiences?"
Yeah,
And
the
she's
way
like,
she's
"No, I have
acting
never."
is literally like it's just symptoms of schizophrenia, paranoia. Oh, those
Yeah,
people out there,
that's
they're
exactly what it
coming to
is.
get me,
Uh-huh.
freaking out about it,
So
kind
it
of
would make sense
showing
that the
signs of
doctor,
psychosis, you know. This
yeah,
kind
it
of
would
makes
make sense
sense.
that the doctor's like, "Have you ever had therapy or any, large amounts, like very impactful childhood traumas?" And she's like, "No, I went through no trauma as a child." And then the boyfriend is like, "She has trauma, she has terrible
She has a
nightmares."
lot of trauma.
Where, yeah.
I have
She's
no
like, she
trauma.
has
Actually, she's got loads of trauma, dude.
and he's like, she has terrible nightmares, and she sings in her sleep and talks about Hansel and Gretel, and then she gets really mad when I talk about it. And then she gets really mad at him, and she's like, "Grr," but then she just stares at the FBI guy. And then she interrupts them, and she says Kilner. His name is Daniel Kilner.
There he is. There he
That's the main
is.
man.
The field guy or the tech guy who's
Yeah.
not a field guy.
And the doctor walks away, and she grabs her boyfriend. She's like, "Act like I need to go to the bathroom." And he's like, "What?" And she's like, "Act like I need to go to the bathroom, but I need help." And he's like, okay." So they sneak out of there and they escape to the bathroom. Except they don't go to the bathroom. And she's like, "We need to go." And she reads his mind and she goes, "Don't worry." Or or what is it? So they like sneak into this other hospital room, right? And there's an old lady sitting in there, and he's acting all weird, and she reads his mind because she's trying to change his clothes, and she reads his mind, and she gets all mad at him, and he goes, what did I do?" And she just goes, "You know." I think this is like a sex reference. I think they're referencing that he wanted to have sex, and and she's like, "What, you're thinking about sex at this moment?"
No, I
Oh,
think
what do you think it was?
I think it's she's coming out and being like, "Oh, you were like gonna stay here if I wanted to move, no matter what."
No, that happens later.
Yeah, but she's just not bringing it up yet. She's going to though. I don't
I
think he
mean,
was thinking about sex at this moment. That would be kind of psychotic, and he just seems like a normal dude.
I don't think it has anything to do with that because I think her reaction would be very different. She's just like, "Oh my gosh,
I don't know.
right now,
Maybe
here," and
it's
then
as
she
simple
walks away.
as maybe it's as simple as she reads his mind. He's like, she's being crazy, and she's like,
Yeah.
"Fuck you," basically, for thinking I'm crazy because I'm not.
But then we cut back to the main character and Jane. Geez, this movie cuts so much. There are so many scenes in this movie. It is like,
It's very like, whoo, huh, whoo, here we go, whoo. It's like a roller. It's like a Disneyland ride
yeah,
of crazy
so much
sci-fi
stuff
stuff.
happens. But main character Daniel Kilner is showing Jane the footage of the alien stuff. And the first one he shows her begins with President Nixon and some movie star that Nixon wanted to impress. And they're like making jokes and stuff. And she's like, "What is this?" And he tells her about President Nixon and this famous person who he wanted to impress. And then it cuts to them going down into this morgue and they pull out a casket and there's alien bodies. And they are the comical space aliens, which was probably the best part of this movie.
Yeah, I
I
enjoy
was
the kind of shameless use of very classic alien iconography. I like that.
like the funny UFOs
In
are
fact,
so classic and charming.
in fact, there might be a better version of that in the works right now. An interesting script that uses a lot of the ideas and themes that are present in Disclosure Day at a
That
higher level.
that script will probably come out before this comes out.
This
Well, at least
no,
part
the
of it.
whole script won't be done, but part of it will
I
come out.
reckon we'll be. far through it.
It
But
takes a minute to write a script.
yeah.
But you know what?
It is a short script
Just
though.
think about it. Just think about it.
Just
Wonderful
think about
audience,
it.
all 7 of you.
um, but she's like, "Are they children?" And he says, "No." And she says, "Are they people?" And he says, "No." And she says, "Are they human?" And he says, "No."
Are they
And then he
people?
shows her,
No. Are they human? No.
yeah. But gosh, this movie. Then he shows her another part, and he's like, "It's hard to watch." And he's like, "This is what Hugo showed me that got me into this side of the war." And he shows her a
The
video
war?
of
What war?
them. I don't know,
It's been
man.
going on for like 2 days.
But he shows her a video, and it's company with evil company man, and they're like doing surgery on an alien, and it's like screaming in pain. Uh, and they're dissecting it, and they're like, "Get the anesthesia. We need to put it to sleep." And then company man he's evil, so he says, "No,
No
don't use the
anesthetic.
anesthesia."
No anesthetic, please.
Uh,
I
which
like
why
pain.
is this?
Who
Is
knows?
this not like putting you in a much?
There could be some kind of science purpose. I
Maybe
mean,
there's a shortage.
well, not to be super morbid, the Nazis did like do surgery on people without anesthetic very cruelly, very horrifically because they were trying to figure certain things out. And
Huh.
we use a lot of the information that they found out in medicine today because they were willing to do horrible, cruel, evil things that we weren't willing to do. And because they did that, they figured out a bunch of somewhat useful stuff. So there you go. Love that, right?
Yikes! Yeah,
There's some reason they're doing surgery on this alien while it is alive and not anesthetized. It's awake.
yeah. But he's like, "There's 79 years of this, and I have all of it." Um, and then we cut back to company.
How? They
And
got all the. Oh no, he stole the van, didn't he?
Yeah, he stole the van, remember?
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
But company
It's okay.
opens a thing, and what did I write here?
I don't know. What did you write here?
Company opens thing and grabs weird thing man.
They
Oh,
they opened the
oh shit.
case with the
They open the
dildos
case
in
to the
it,
space dildo. And
and
then
they
a
give it
man
to him
tells evil company man that Hugo is the only one who's had contact with the device. And so company man gets suited up and he has a headache and drops the space dildo as he's trying to use it.
because he's trying to
He's trying
get
to
into Daniel Kilmer's
Kilner.
brain,
Yeah. He's trying to get
and
into his brain. And he
forget
tries,
where
but
he
he like
is.
whites out. And he's like, I had focus, but I whited out and the air was sucked out of my lungs.
Got hit in the chest with a sledgehammer.
And so he's like, pull up the data on the girl. And so they pull up the data on the girl. And then we cut back to Main Man. And Main Man tells Jane, I guess Kilner tells Jane, the interrogation of aliens. What on my notes are a train wreck, dude. But he's like, all of the interrogation and stuff has been done by the military and the government, and they've hid it. They don't tell the people about it because or they don't tell the presidents about it because a president is just a civilian again in 8 years, which isn't true. And he's like, we're gonna
We
do a.
tell presidents all kinds of crazy shit.
I know. But he's like, we're gonna do full disclosure to the whole world all at once. And the girl's like, you haven't considered the effects this would have on society. And he's like, it's not up to me to decide the morality, but it is up to. But it is. I am obligated to share it with the world.
We're getting
And
another
she's like,
theme. We're getting another
yeah,
one.
this is
Another
another
theme
theme.
slot.
This is supposedly the theme of the movie.
Truth
I guess.
versus a comfortable lie, basically. Is it
Yeah.
better to just always tell the truth totally, or to only tell the truths that make society function better?
Yeah, but Jane is like, people will see them as deities and it'll destroy civilizations. People will leave God because people won't be able to handle the truth. And he's like, they can handle it. And she's like, no way, especially not with all the war going on. It'll destroy everything if civilization falls. People need to believe. And Kilner is like, I need to call Hugo, and he walks out of the house with his phone, but then he like does a double take and he takes the backpack of data with him so that because he doesn't trust Jane.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Going with also what Spielberg has said about this movie where he's like this will shake the faith of the Catholic majority. Uh and then later in this movie the nun will the Reverend Mother will talk about it's okay if aliens live. Um, this was went over in a Catholic. Like, I'm not Catholic at all, but Catholics have been debating this issue for the past like 700 years, and they concluded a long time ago that the existence of aliens and extraterrestrials does not affect the belief of God at all because in the Bible there's never a point that it ever says we're God's only creation in this universe.
Yeah.
So
I don't
it's
know
a
why this
very
movie would do any of that. Like, okay, if aliens were actually revealed in real life, we found out for sure they were aliens. Yeah, some people's belief might be kind of shaken, right? Some people.
yeah,
Um, but this is a fictional movie. So,
yeah.
like, I don't watch The Conjuring where like Catholicism is 100% guaranteed true. And I don't watch those movies and I'm like, wow, my atheism is shaken. I need to become a Catholic. You know,
uh,
it's I just accept it. I'm like, oh, in this universe, like the religion is true. In this universe, aliens exist.
I think it's more because I feel like maybe it wasn't done a good job of it at all, but I think the company is supposed to be like an allegory or a metaphor for the Catholic Church in some way.
Maybe.
Because they're like
So what?
evil and they need to protect the belief of God.
Well, there's a great answer here. Is like if you don't think that's true about the Catholic Church, you can just be like, no,
Yeah. So I
or
don't
you can just be
yeah,
like
I
they
don't know.
represent anything else. Like you could say, oh, maybe they represent the church. Maybe they represent, I don't know, the government hiding secrets. Maybe they represent the elites. Maybe they represent any possible group that would hide secrets from the masses, which
Yeah.
could be the Catholic Church. Sure, I guess that's one
But
interpretation.
then we cut to news lady and boyfriend, and they've escaped, and they're getting in the car, and then the news lady gets a phone call from Hugo, and he's like, "I'm a friend," and she's like, "How can I trust you?" And he's like, "You'd know if I wasn't." Uh,
Which is something
and
that an
she's like,
evil guy would say.
"Yeah," and she's like, "So who are you?" And he's like, "You know," and she's like, "No, I don't know."
Is he saying he's God?
No, but he knows that
I'm
she's the
God.
alien. He knows that she's alien Jesus, so
Wait,
he's like, you know everything.
Is the nun an alien?
What are you talking about? I'm talking about the news lady.
Oh, I thought you meant the
Yeah.
nun. I was
No,
like, wait, is the
the
nun
nun
an
never
alien?
gets a call from Hugo.
I thought for some I was like, wait, I missed the fact that the nun is an alien.
No, no, the news lady is talking to Hugo.
Okay, well then maybe it does make more sense that he'd be like, you'd know
Yeah,
if I okay.
and he's like, "You're okay, and I can give you protection." Uh, and just one second. This is hard. There's so much stuff that happens in this movie.
Poor James. He's trying.
What does this say? He doesn't know, and she's frightened. And Hugo assures her she is okay, and he can offer her protection. And they will get to her. She asks who it. Oh, she asks like she names like a badge number. She's like, "Who is da 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 da?" And he says, "Since you know who the number is, you know who it belongs to. It's David Kilner's number." And he's like, "You can't go home. They'll find you there. Hang up and destroy the phone. Uh, and you'll find David, basically."
Is there
And
any
so
reason?
she,
Hang on. Is there any reason why they don't just give her the address of the warehouse?
no,
Dude, they could have just given her the address and given him the address as well, and they could have just met
yes,
there like really early on.
you're correct.
Well,
But that
oh
couldn't happen because
man.
then the movie would be much shorter.
Or they could have come up with any other reason why it couldn't happen. Like maybe they're on
So
the way there and it gets compromised or something. Ooh.
yeah, so he's like, destroy the phone. So she hangs up and she throws the phone out the window. And her boyfriend's like, why would you do that? That's a perfectly good phone. And she's like, we need to destroy it. And he's like, what? So instead of getting out and stomping on the car or breaking it, they put it on the ground and they drive over it, but they miss. So they go into reverse and try and drive over it, but they miss again. So they do it a third time and they successfully break the phone. Comedy comes in threes.
Comedy comes in. What are you talking about?
Because they tried to run over the phone 3 times and
Oh.
only succeeded
I
on the
didn't think
third
that was a
time.
joke.
It was supposed to be a comedy.
I didn't think it was a joke at all. I thought it was like,
Oh,
oh, the desperation of these people.
no, it was supposed to be a joke. Uh, but then we cut to Evil Company Man, and he's back in his chair with his space dildo. And there's a picture of the girl, and he's like he's trying to space rape her. And
I
then we
don't
cut
know about
to,
this choice of words.
I kind of feels right though.
I'm getting a little bit sour on space rape.
What about space grape?
Oh yeah, we could do that.
Okay.
Space grape. He's gonna
Space
space
grape.
grape her.
So,
All right.
so we cut back to Jane, and she's like washing her face in the mirror, and then she gets,
She's
they do the
washing her
movie
face in
thing.
the mirror.
So, but they do the movie thing where like the person is like doing something, and then they do a music sound, and the person makes a funny face to be like, "Oh, they something's off," and they feel it.
That does happen in
Uh,
like every movie.
it does happen in every
That
movie.
happened in Hereditary, a very good movie.
Yeah. And then we cut to Main Man. Or no, who do we cut to? Hugo is sent. Okay, yeah, Hugo and Kilner are on the phone in a field, and Hugo is sending videos of the news lady doing space talk to Main Man, and he's like, "Isn't look at this crazy thing that's happening?" But then Kilner is like, "What do you mean? She's just speaking English. Like it's kind of weird, but she's saying." And Hugo's like, "What?" And Kilner is like, she's speaking plain English." And Hugo's like, "Dude, she is totally speaking Spanglish or Spaceglish is what I'm gonna call
No,
it.
they don't. They don't
Spaceglish."
even say this. The problem in this scene is that they don't say this.
Yeah,
Is that
he just
Hugo
like,
is like super vague with him.
yeah.
He's like, "What are you talking about?" He's speaking English, and he's like, "Oh," he says something super mysterious. He's like, "Dude, can we like maybe clarify? Like, hey, by the way,
Yeah,
we can all hear gibberish, so you're hearing something different than the rest of us, and that's weird. You want to tell him
yeah,
that maybe?"
but
Hey, wait
Kilner
a goddamn minute. Wait
Kilner
one,
starts.
James. Wait one cotton picking fucking minute.
I don't think you can say that.
Why? Why on earth hasn't Company Man used the stupid device to find any of the employees who no call no showed?
Because the movie is retarded,
No, I'm
and
just
slot
realizing all
movies
these
do
things.
things for no reason. I
Why?
told you this is a bad movie. This is why I don't believe the deer are actually aliens at all.
No, the
Because
deer
it's
are
slop.
the deer are aliens, and I agree that the movie's bad. I never contested that. I'm just asking. I'm just pointing out another
Nothing
problem
makes
with the
sense.
movie, and you're getting very angry at me, and this is very hurtful.
I don't like you anymore. I think we should
Why?
break
I'm
up.
pointing out a problem in the movie. Jesus
You've
Christ.
angered me.
I can see this. I think we need
I
to get
don't
a
even want to
divorce.
think about the flaws at this point because of how many there are. But yes, all of this problem would be solved for Company if Company would just look for any of the employees.
Or
And all of this
Hugo.
problem would be solved by the good guys. I say good guys with quite heavy air quotes. Because all they need to do is post it online because that's their plan is posting all of it online.
They
So
want it to be believable though, because like if it's just posted online, people could be like, oh, it's been tampered.
I
It's
would
fake.
trust this information more from Instagram Reels or TikTok than I would from the news media.
No, I wouldn't because I'd be like, well, the news media doesn't normally just blatantly lie. They usually twist narratives.
I think you
But
have
then, like,
far too much hope in the
no,
media.
they don't just like make shit up because then it would be easy to prove they're lying. They very cleverly obfuscate information so that
The Epstein
you
files
can't
aren't
tell.
real, they say. The Epstein
That wasn't
files
the
aren't
media.
real.
That wasn't the media. That was the
That
DOJ.
was the media.
That was the
Since
DOJ.
2016, when Epstein was first arrested, there's no island. There's no pedophile ring.
I guess how would they
They
know?
blatantly lie. They knew.
Okay.
Because most of the
I'm just
people
not going to
doing
say
those
anything
news
anymore
reports.
for the rest of this video, and I'm just going to let you read your notes then.
This is what happens when you don't take notes. You don't
I'm
get
just
to
trying. I'm
interject.
just trying to be best faith, dude. I'm just trying to be best faith, which is what we owe to any movie we cover. They want to do it
Yeah.
on a live news broadcast and bring
Yeah.
the alien on,
It makes a semblance of sense.
and
But
also
also
everyone
they
will
could
see
just
it,
communicate properly, and that would also solve all their problems, and they could get that
Yeah,
goal very
this
easily.
movie. Listen, there's simple fixes here. Have Hugo tell Kilner and Margaret both to go to the warehouse, and then have fucking company man use his device to find them at the warehouse. Bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah, boom. You cut the movie down like by 2 hours almost.
And then you can
And
fill
you still
the
get the
time
same
with,
amount of plot.
You can fill the remaining time with other things that make sense.
You could have actually put a final fight scene in the news media or whatever, or like some
fight
sequence
scene.
of events, because instead it will end very abruptly.
Yeah, you could have done it. You could have done a lot of stuff, but I
then
digress.
Hugo says to Kilner, he's like, "I always knew you were one of them," and then a crop circle appears around.
Yeah,
A crop circle appears around Kilner.
it's not just a crop circle. It's like a really intricate design, which we'll never understand what that is.
No, I'll tell you what it is, because it's like a bird's eye view of him standing in this crop circle with this intricate design surrounding him. And then we cut, and that same design is on the space dildo that Company Man is holding.
Oh.
In the next scene. But so basically what they're telling us is Hugo is also space grade
so why
by
did
the
it
aliens.
happen? Why did the crop circle form?
Because it had to for the story.
No, it didn't.
Yes, it did. We had to know that he's an alien.
That who is an alien?
Kilner. He's been
Kilner's
probed.
He's not
He's
an
been
alien.
probed by
He knows how to translate their language.
This is where I get confused, because for some reason I thought that when they probed them as children, they like put other alien souls inside of them that are like sleeper agents, basically.
Wait, why did they do any of this with Margaret? They could have just one of the aliens could have just done the talking.
Because I don't know, dude. This movie has put me in a trance.
Good lord, the more I think about it, it really is
to not be.
It really is just collapsing into shambles. They could have literally just had Kilner translate.
I am astonished that you say this movie isn't as bad as Mando and Grogu. I think it's worse,
dude.
It's
go watch our video again. Just go watch our video again. You'll like Mandalorian and Grogu. Like everything is, like this movie has scenes in it where I'm like, okay, this kind of works. This explanation works, but these ones don't. Right? It's a mixed bag. More like. Whereas Mandalorian and Grogu, like everything sucks.
This is more like, say, a trilogy of movies, where the first movie, the first act, you would say, is like something that kind of resembles a movie, and then every single like rule or thing that is ever set up is broken later, and every like rule set is changed. It's like the third trilogy of Star Wars, where they just make up, like, you know, the rules of space are constantly changing, basically. It's like this.
Yeah, it's kind of like some things make sense, but others don't. Like, they have a good explanation for why the FBI isn't involved, but then they don't have a good explanation for why they don't just use the alien dildos to find everybody sooner. They have a good explanation for one thing. It's like the movie is like a
You
It's like a
defending this movie,
4.
your
I'm
your
not
point of
defending it.
reference,
It's
your
a bad
point of
movie.
reference is one single line where they say, "We'll get the FBI involved," and they say, "No, we don't want
No, there's
untrained agents involved."
yeah, that was I was one example. There's other things like the performances are good. I think the actors do fine. Um, Jesus, I'm trying to think.
It's it's
There's some kind
bad.
of interesting themes that are at play. You
Down
know.
to the very first opening scene of the stupid them exchanging the backpack, right? In what world does number one, when they try and take the backpack for him to be like super discreet, he has it handcuffed, and then he starts yelling at him in this crowd. So they've already destroyed the discreet thing, right? And then
What are you trying to prove to me?
I'm trying to say that none of it makes sense. Nobody like the beginning of the movie where which is probably the strongest part of the movie is in shambles already because of how terribly the government goes about operating this. Like, why on earth are they trying to get this backpack from him in this WWE event if they're immediately after going to drag him out to the carport to like interrogate him? Why would they not just have him go there or meet at any other place in the
Yes,
world?
you're right, dude. That the movie is like bad, but the point is it's better than Mandalorian and Grogu because there are at least some redeeming qualities.
I don't think there are redeeming qualities at all.
Is acting not a redeeming quality?
Is the acting good? The
It's
acting exists.
Yeah, but the acting in Mandalorian and Grogu is fucking abysmal.
Dude, Martin Scorsese acted in that movie.
Yeah, he's the only good
Okay, so let's
in the
compare
movie.
the highs of Mandalorian and Grogu is Martin Scorsese's performance as the funny dude.
Yeah,
And the little people. Don't forget the little people.
but the little
The
people are also fucking stupid,
No, they're cool and they're cute.
and they're complete and utter.
The Fricks.
Just go watch our video. Just go watch our video,
It's
dude.
this is at least on par with that movie.
I think you are.
Is what I'm
I think
saying.
you're nuts. I think
I think you're nuts.
you're actually like letting this movie get to you, and you need to think critically
I think I
because
am thinking critically.
this is
There's no
definitely
redeeming qualities about this movie other than
there's a
bright
wide
flashes and
spectrum.
fast cuts.
There's a wide spectrum of bad movie. There's a wide spectrum. A 4 is still a bad movie.
I think you're so wrong.
If
But
if
anyways,
we give every bad movie a 2 and a 2 or a 3, then 2 and 3 stops meaning anything. They lose their meaning.
How to Make a Killing is like a 4. It's like a 4 to 5.
I don't get that either. I think it's like a 6. It's a very middle ground 6 where
But it
it
doesn't
does
make any
more.
sense.
How is it like dramatically? I don't know how you would say How to Make a Killing is. What are the big problems with How to Make a Killing?
Is that
Uh,
there's no
the
reality in which he
FBI
doesn't get caught for most of the
the
crimes,
FBI,
right?
you know, probably should have caught him, but I can give it a little bit of benefit of the doubt because they might not have had enough evidence and all that. And then the ending bit with Margaret Qualley kind of blackmailing him is a little bit. It probably doesn't work, yeah. But
Did you forget
that's not a 4.
like the whole basis of the court case is that she was like withholding amounts of evidence that should have been,
Yeah,
you
that's what
know,
I just said. It doesn't make sense that the blackmail bit with her doesn't make sense. Yeah, that's what I just said. But that doesn't like those are problems, yeah. But the movie
and
also does quite a
also
bit of stuff pretty well. And you know what else is a 6, James? Obsession. All right. Let's be
Obsession
clear.
is far better than How to Make a Killing.
No, Obsession is far more enjoyable because the highs are much higher.
Dude, listen. How to Make a Killing. Do you not remember when Margaret Qualley shows up to meet this guy in jail right before
Yeah,
his death
I
day, right?
already said
The
it doesn't make
person
sense.
the
That
person
ending
who
plot point doesn't make sense. You don't need to
the
explain it to me.
person Okay, so
I'm
what's
deafening
redeeming about it?
myself. I'm deafening myself.
What makes it better than a movie that is a 5 out of 10, which we have already said is a movie that's just
It does
it's not really bad
more
and it's
well than
not
it does
good.
badly.
What does it do
Most
well?
most of the movie up to the end makes sense. Most of it does. The performances are good and compelling. The character is, I think he's a good character. I think Margaret Qualley's character is also a good character. I think that the family members that he's killing, several of them are pretty interesting characters. Like, yeah, it has good character work. It has a plot that is fine up to a point where it's like, oh, it's kind of broken, and the world seems, it's appropriate, and the performances are good. It's well directed.
I
It
think you're
absolutely
giving
does
way
more
too
well
much
than it
leeway
does
to this
poorly.
movie.
I'm not giving it any leeway. I agree with you on everything that it did badly. I'm just like, that one flaw, those one or two flaws, they're big deals. There's a reason the movie's not a 7 or an 8,
But
but it doesn't like
we've already
destroy
talked about
everything.
how Obsession would have been like an 8 to 8.5 if it had not had like the reason Obsession is a 6 is because even though the plot would not have happened at all, it just has those highs. It has really high highs. We have the exact same circumstance where the plot of a movie would not happen at all in the real world because of these flaws, because they would immediately get shut down and arrested, right? But there's no redeeming qualities to make it a 6. There's
I
no
already
like,
said
oh
there's
wow,
redeeming
that was super
qualities.
enjoyable. Yeah, but how can
And the lows
you
the lows
really?
are definitely not as low as the lows in Obsession.
Why not? It's the same amount of like the lows of Obsession are that in reality, Nikki would have been locked up in an asylum.
Yeah, there's like
It's like he
three
would have in
different
the
there's like two different completely plot breaking things in Obsession. Then there's a character assassination, and then there's a bunch of like minor flaws up to that point.
what's the character assassination?
Sarah.
Oh, I forgot she existed.
Sarah gets completely butchered and assassinated, and honestly, so does Ian. Ian kind of gets character assassinated too, I think.
Yeah, but like this, we have the same like plot breaking things that happen in How to Make a Killing, and it's just
Okay,
not even close to as enjoyable.
there's one plot breaking thing in How to Make a Killing.
There's
There's
two.
multiple in Obsession, and How to Make a Killing outside of that is good. It's good. It works. It's passable. It gets the job done. It's a 6.
I can't imagine any world where How to Make a Killing is on the same level. This is
It's
this
not
is
on the same
slander.
level of enjoyability, and it didn't have the same level of potential that Obsession did. Obsession obviously has much higher potential, but
This is slander.
just objectively speaking here, man,
I'm very
they
offended
are
by
on the
what you're
same
saying.
level.
I don't think they are at all.
They're
But
sixes, sixes, and this movie's like a 4. It's more bad than good. Most of it doesn't make sense, but it's not like a 3. A
I
3
think
is
it's a
like
3 definitely.
a brutal disaster of a movie.
I think this movie's a 3, absolutely.
I think the Last Jedi is a 3. This
The
movie's
Last
not as
Jedi
bad as the Last Jedi.
we already discussed that the last I was thinking of the Rise of Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker's a 2 because it doesn't have
Yeah.
time traveler multiverses in it.
Yeah, I think this movie's a 3, absolutely.
I don't know. I just think
But
that's a bit low. Is all I'm saying.
back to the movie. Evil Company Man is using his space dildo to try and possess Jane. And so she's acting all weird. She's taking her medication. So she starts breathing weird. And then his device starts to glow. And their eyes turn into this like white opaqueness. And she drops her glass of water that she's holding. And that's how we know that he's successfully possessed her. And he can like make
All
his
right.
hand, he like moves his hand and her hand moves.
Here's another thing.
Uh
I might slowly inch towards your position of 3 throughout this movie. So Hugo knows how these devices work.
yes.
Presumably, he knows that Daniel Kilner has Jane with him because she got in the car with the assistant.
Yeah.
Hugo knows that Wardex has another device. How did he allow this to happen? Because obviously this is what was going to happen.
Uh-huh.
Obviously,
especially when
Wardex was going to use it to find them.
yeah, especially when the reality is they would have taken the third space dildo specifically to avoid this,
His
but they
plan
didn't
is
for some
literally
reason.
let's have our two most important people rendezvous at a random farm where
By
we can't get
themselves,
them by
without
themselves
us.
with a third person there who can be used to find their location. Let's set
I guess
ourselves
it
up for
could
complete and utter disaster.
it could be argued that Hugo knows that Kilner and News Lady can't be possessed, right?
But
Because we find that
the
out that they
third
can't.
person's the third, but
It
Jane.
could be argued that he doesn't know Jane is there
How
because he
how
said
how could that happen?
because he was like leave Jane at a non-disclosed location where she'll be safe. But
But
then she tells,
what's
well,
his
I guess
name?
Santiago
Santiago
would have
would have told him.
immediately told Hugo,
Unless
and
Santiago's just a
Santiago
big dumb
would have
asshole.
immediately put a stop to it and been like, no, you can't come with us. Get
But
out of the car. I will shoot you.
even if he didn't, for whatever reason, even if he didn't, he would have told Hugo, and Hugo would have been like, no. And also, like, does Daniel not know how the dildos work? I feel like
I don't know.
everybody would know that, right?
Well, it's possible. I guess I don't know.
I guess
Maybe
Hugo
he
might
just
not have
didn't
told
tell.
him.
Yeah, maybe nobody told him.
Well, that's weird because he was using it earlier in the movie to threaten the Wardex man.
But he was just holding it. And we know that it can do like a varying amount of things. We know it can do at least 3 things. It can power a news station, it can turn things invisible, and it can space
It's just a
scrape people.
MacGuffin that can do anything they want it to. They've written the
Yeah.
story so that it can be that. I guess we if we really like we can really try to make this work by saying Hugo doesn't know that it has that ability and whatever, right? He doesn't know that. Only the people at Wardex right now know it. But like you can only save this for so long because once Daniel Kilner knows that this is a possibility, he has to do something different.
Yeah. Uh but no, instead Evil Company Man will possess girl and start controlling her movements, and then he like makes her clap. And she gets like horrified, obviously, because she's losing control of her body, which, yep, I'd be terrified too. And she starts praying in Latin. Um, and then he appears to her. So you can also like shadow project yourself to the people you've possessed. That happens too.
Yeah.
Uh, so he appears to her in the safe house, and he's like, "Where are you?" And she's like, "I don't know." And he's like, "Relax." And he asks who she is. Uh, what? My notes are a tremendous destruction. Um, but she like coughs and stabs herself with her cross that she wears around her,
Yeah.
which makes the company man unpossess her for a second.
I guess if you
So
give
like
yourself like an adrenaline rush, maybe
yeah, you can like
it like
overcome the
kicks.
possession a little bit.
Yeah.
And so he falls out
Fine.
of it, but he like jumps back into it right quick. And he's like, "Where are you?"
That's a functioning that's an example of a functioning mechanic among a sea of non-functioning mechanics, which
Don't worry, this
Mandalorian and
functioning
Grogu does
mechanic
not
will
have.
not work later at all. It will stop working.
But it will stop working for reasons that I think make sense. We'll talk about that then.
Um, and so she stabs herself with the crucifix thing. He flies away. He comes back and he goes, where are you?" Or no, he says, "Where were you?" And she was like, "We were at the monastery." And he was like, "Do you remember which way you drove?" She said she doesn't know. He asked which side the sun was on. She said it was on the right. So they're driving
Oh, yeah,
east.
it's this part.
I guess this part is a thing that a place would do, potentially.
They should go into more detail though, I think.
Yeah. And they were like, "So what way were you driving? Did you see any landmarks and stuff?" Uh, and she tells him they crossed a river. and they saw a sign for a town called Sexville. Yeah, that's what it was called. It was called like Sexville, but spelt
I'm like
weirdly.
a 14-year-old, dude. It's so funny. I'm going on a trip to Sexville.
Oh wait, the funniest line in the movie. So they're like, we know where she is. So somehow by saying that she was driving east and that she is at some like abandoned house, they know where she is because she passed
Hey
Sexville and
girl,
went
are
over
you
a
from
river.
Sexville? Because I'd like to go up in your abandoned house.
Uh, and so they say, deploy the agents. And then they say, maintain maximum legal speed.
Yeah.
Uh,
Maintain maximum legal speed.
yeah.
God, that line is pretty hilarious.
And then they keep
Maximum legal
asking her
speed is like very
questions.
slow, actually, for
Yeah.
highway.
And so they keep asking her questions, and
I bet
we
the
see
writer
that she's
felt so
stabbed
cool
herself.
putting that in there, dude.
Yeah. But we see she's been stabbing herself with her cross so much that she's bleeding all over the place, and she drops it. She is fully succumbed to the possession. And she starts telling him everything. Um, and then she starts stabbing her nails into herself as she's answering more questions, and he disappears. So I guess her nails hurt more than the crucifix that was stabbing into her open wound.
Maybe it's the mounting pain and adrenaline and stress eventually overwhelms him.
Uh, and then right before he disappears, he says, "If I can't do it, you may have to take Kilner out yourself." But then she's free. But then he's back again, and he says, "Kilner is wrong and he's dangerous." And she says, "I can't stop him myself." And then he starts to quote the Bible, and she finishes the quote, and he says, the knowledge of these beings will destroy the human race. Walk over there." And she walks over to the counter, and he makes her pick up a kitchen knife. And then
He sure does.
we cut to News Lady, and she's freaking out in the
Her name's
car.
Margaret, by the way.
Oh, Margaret?
Yeah.
Margaret
Or
freaks out in
Emily
the
Blunt.
car. And she calls David Kilner with her boyfriend's phone. And she goes, "They know where you are. They're coming to the house. They're going to kill you." And then her boyfriend starts freaking out because he's like, "What the hell is wrong with you?" Um, and as Kilner reflects on this terrifying phone call, he goes back to the house and he sits in a field. Then he walks off while Jane is ominously sitting in a rocking chair in the house with the knife hidden in her sleeve, which
Yeah.
that scares me as a person who works with knives all day long. That idea
It
just
was like
terrifies me.
existentially terrifying to you.
Yeah, having it like, because remember how I told you, like, when I was a child, I had a fear that one day I'd get hit by a sleeping dart. But when I fell over,
The
I would land on the sleeping dart and it would get like plunged into my
That's
body.
a
It's
reasonable
like
thing to be afraid of, dude.
that's what I fear with having like a knife stuck in my sleeve. It's just like a fixed blade. Now, granted, it's a house knife. It's probably about as sharp as a spatula, but like my knives are as sharp as they can be. That would scare the hell out of me. Having one of those in my sleeve, I'd be walking like a robot. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't act like a normal human being with a knife in my sleeve.
Well, you're just not as skilled as she is, man.
I guess she
The
is. She
things
is
they teach you
possessed
in the
too.
nunnery.
Um, but then right as he's walking up, all the bad guys show up in their cars.
Yeah.
There's like 40 people probably. There's like 10, 20 cars that have all pulled up and they're all pulling guns out, pointing them at the house, and they're like doing reconnaissance.
Yeah.
They're trying to figure out where he is so they can all get in there and grab him. But he's behind them,
And
and
he
so
is up against the picket fence at this point, very close to
there's a
them,
picket
doing a
fence.
terrible job hiding.
His job or his plan is to sneak up to where they are and to get in one of their cars and drive away.
Okay.
Uh,
Let's break this down because the film has already done the thing of like, oh, he's a lab guy. He's not a field guy. So
yeah,
he's not like very skillful or whatever. It's like, yeah, okay. Maybe you could, oh, he didn't hide properly very well because of that, but hiding's pretty intuitive. You kind of don't have to have special training to know how to not be seen through a picket fence.
yeah.
Whatever, right? His
Um,
his plan's bad because he's a lab guy, but that
he is,
explanation only works for so long when very soon after he's going to perform very skillful field guy feats in order to
yeah.
escape all of these people.
So his plan is to acquire one of these evil man cars, right? So he's walking fully upright. There is a fence, like a picket fence, basically separating him from the villains, and he walks all the way around the picket
Yeah,
fence,
nobody sees
and then
him.
he walks up a gravel road fully upright behind them
Nobody
as
sees
there are
him,
people.
and
In
you'd be
fact,
like,
a
"Oh,
car
but
drives right past him. A bad guy car drives right past him, stops. The guy gets out, and then he walks up behind the guy before he closes the door. That's how close he is to him. And he just gets in the car
and you
and he
could be
turns
like,
it on.
"Oh, they didn't see him because they're all looking at the house." To which I say, "Why?" That
Yeah.
is not what a tactical team would do. They would have rear security. They would have side security. They would be thinking like it is entirely possible that he is not in the house.
And
Especially
even,
since Mr. Evil Man possessed her and like saw that he wasn't there.
yeah. And even if, right, they are just all looking at the house, the thing is, as he's sneaking, he like trips and stumbles like Homer Simpson down this hill to get around the fence, and he's just like, oh, oh,
No.
ow, oh, walking down this
Homer
hill.
slips and falls.
Nobody hears
No.
him, and it's just like, how was no one not like nobody looked over their shoulder at all when they heard this guy running on the gravel road behind them? Nobody reacted. It was fine.
Hey, what are we
We're
doing
just
here,
on a
man? Oh, we're looking for a fugitive. I saw a guy running over there. That's probably nothing. I
uh,
remember, like, laterally moving people are much easier to spot than people who are moving straight towards you or straight away from you.
yeah,
So he
and
would
he was
be,
moving straight towards them.
he no, he was not moving. That's my point. Is he wasn't. He was moving
Oh, oh,
laterally.
oh, oh.
Much easier to see somebody who's like going side to side in front of you
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying.
than it is to see somebody who is, which is why we do what's called a clover leaf when we're doing recon. We're closing in on a position. If we're trying to find a spot, we don't just walk straight along the edge of whatever we're looking at to the spot we want to be at. We walk closer, then we walk far away, then we move laterally once we're far away out of sight, then we walk back towards the target. It's called clover leafing. An experienced field guy would have done that, but he's a lab guy, so he didn't.
But don't worry because his mission was a flying success. He sneaks into a car
Fucking
and he turns
somehow.
it on.
Somebody left the
Uh,
keys in there, by the way, but whatever.
yeah.
They might have done that, sure.
So he turns the car on, and then everyone turns around at the same time, and they go, "Wait, that's the guy!"
How'd that
And they all
happen?
start. So the positioning of his car is he is in the car that's at the very back of the line, right? He can just drive away on this gravel road.
Well, he's trying to
And
go
so
save her.
yeah, but he can like pull.
That's
He
the
can
point
he
of all
can.
this. Otherwise, he would have just ran
He's
off in the woods.
free of his location, right?
Yeah.
So, but here's what happens. Everybody realizes it's him. All the guys with guns, by the way, big guns. And they all start running towards the car.
Yeah, they don't need to capture him, by the way. That is not the goal.
Yeah, it's not a
The
capture him
goal
alive
the
moment.
goal
They just need to kill
100%
him.
is to kill him because they
Yeah.
definitely try to do that later.
And also,
The train
Evil
scene.
Company Man literally tells Jane, you have to kill him. So the operation is 100% to kill him.
Yeah, she has
So
a
they all
butcher
start
knife.
they all start running towards the car. And so instead of putting it in reverse and just driving around them, he decides to drive right through them,
Into a tree.
directly directly through them into a tree.
And as he's doing it,
And
he's
then,
like, "What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing?"
yeah.
And
And so he runs the car into the tree, and then they start like jumping on the car.
lucky that his coolant reservoir and his radiator were fine there.
Yeah.
But it's fine. Lucky his fan was all right. It can happen. You can hit a tree without destroying those, but yeah,
So
lucky.
so yeah, they drive the car into the tree, and then they start like dogpiling the car instead of opening the door or shooting him. And so he starts
Yeah, shoot him through the
reversing.
window. Like they're right there.
But then, don't worry, dear viewer, this car is now bulletproof. It will become not bulletproof later, so I have to preface this: the car is bulletproof, and they are shooting it, and it is fine. Uh, and then he puts it in reverse, drives through the forest again instead of just going around the forest to pull up to the house. Uh, and he drives through the dining room. Like he did a good job on this because it was very close to where Jane was. It's a lucky thing he didn't decide to drive through the living room, because then
Yeah,
she would have exploded.
lucky that she wasn't just standing in that room and getting run
Yeah,
over.
it's very wonderful that she was placed exactly where she needed to be. So he drives through the wall,
I don't know why he did
grabs
that.
her.
He could have just not done that.
Yeah, but he grabs her, throws her in the car, and then he drives away. But Jane's possessed, so she goes to stab Kilner, but he's driving on grass. It's all bumpy and stuff, so she drops the knife.
And meanwhile, there's like a dozen cars chasing them that
Yeah,
are right hot on their heels, and it the Kilner, the lab guy. He's not a field guy. He is able to basically not get stabbed by her while also successfully evading all these guys over rough terrain. It's like, okay, what happened to this guy? Some goofy nerd who's out of his depth. He's now the most badass escape driver ever.
yeah. But so they're driving, and she's trying to stab him, but she keeps dropping the knife. And then a cop rams the back of their car, and she drops a knife again. And then she tries to stab him, but he is like fighting back. And then she tries to overcome her possession, and she stabs herself in the hand. And then evil company man drops the space dildo and has a seizure. And so she's back now fully, and there's a chase scene. And the car's no longer bulletproof because now they shoot through the back window, they shoot through a tire, they shoot through the engine.
They don't
Uh,
shoot through the engine. I don't think the engine would
not or
be.
not the engine. They shoot through the something, and it starts like smoking. Right?
Yeah,
Something has been broke,
maybe
windows have
they
been
did shoot
broke.
through the engine. The engine would
Um
be the part of the car that could protect you from a bullet. The engine block. That's probably
oh
the only part that can
yeah,
take
and
a
then we
bullet.
get a funny bit where we cut back to the evil company man who's on the floor, and some like intern picks up the space dildo and then vanishes, and then the space dildo comes back, but the guy doesn't come back.
Well,
Uh,
he's fucking gone.
yeah, he got Thanos snapped by the space dildo, and then we cut back to Kilner, and he escapes with the car. But then they find him again, so he takes a dead end turn, and they're right behind him. But then they're not right behind him because they have a bunch of time later to do something, because there's a dead end at the end of the road.
Yeah,
So they
he
get out
somehow created a
and they
big gap. It's not
yeah.
a dead end, by the way. This road,
It's well yeah.
this road like road that is a road, just leads off a cliff. You're like, who put this road here? This is a terrible safety hazard.
It's
Like
like
imagine
it's like
somebody's driving
Wile
on
E.
this road.
Coyote.
Yeah, imagine somebody's driving on this road and they check their text or something. They distracted drive and they don't see. They would just
And
be
they
like,
just
oh, it's a
drive
road, so it's
off this
safe.
cliff.
Yeah.
Uh,
Was there supposed
but
to be
then
like a
they,
bridge there or something, and it's just not there?
but it's like a vast lake.
Maybe
It
the
is
aliens.
extremely
Maybe
large.
the
Maybe
aliens
the
took the
aliens took the
bridge.
road. Uh, but Yeah, so they stop the car and they get out and they run off, but then they go, wait, we could go back. So they grab a rock and they run back to the car and they put a rock on the pedal and the car drives off the cliff.
And
And
this
then
is
they
a lot of
hide.
time.
Yeah, and they still haven't caught up. So then they, instead of leaving, they decide to hide behind a rock directly next to the giant cliff. And so
Yeah,
all the company
run,
shows up.
leave, go into the woods.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
All the company shows up and they're like looking over and they're like, "Oh my gosh, they drove off." And then Jane and Kilner are like, "We fooled them." And then they stand up fully.
They
Stand up
just
fully. And they walk away.
they walk away. They're like meters
Yeah.
from Wardex. Speaking of which, if I am Wardex here, I'm not just gonna be like, oh well, they're dead. No, we're gonna look around because they might
Yeah.
not be. We're
I would look
definitely gonna
around for
send out search
footprints and see
parties.
all the scuffling that happened right outside where the car was that leads into the forest.
I would think it was a possibility that they drove off the cliff and died, sure. But I wouldn't be like that is what happened. I would do due diligence to make sure I was right, you know?
Yeah.
And then I would find them because they're right there, walking,
But don't
having a
worry, they
jolly good
walk off and
stroll.
they're safe now.
Oh, and they walk off together, which okay, at this point, Daniel, having Jane with you
Is a severe
is
liability.
an enormous risk unless you take certain precautions, which you'll take a precaution, but it's not enough because
Very poorly.
there's way more you could do. Like we'll get there.
uh,
So that was pretty
so then
bad scene, I think.
we cut to Margaret and her boyfriend again, news lady, and they pull up to a gas station, and this is the last grocery store in the world. Every single person from this little town is at this grocery store buying it out,
Yeah,
which was
because
funny.
World War III is coming. I
Yeah.
think is what we're meant to think.
And so news lady
They're
this whole time
prepping.
has been like, we need to go east, we need to go east. But now she's like, we need to go north. And then her boyfriend's like, da da da, we need to da 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 da. He's all complaining. And so news lady reads his mind and she goes like, you were gonna stay here when I moved, weren't you? It's okay. I understand. And she's like, the doing news for me is like what music is for you. I just get in a zone and it just feels wonderful.
Okay. Whoop de
Uh
frickin' do, man. This happens sometimes. People break up because one of them needs to go somewhere else for a career reason or a family reason, and the other person doesn't want to go. It
yeah.
happens.
And then she's like, oh wait, we need to go east now. Just let me drive, it'll be easier. And boyfriend's like, oh hell no. And he's like, I'm gonna go inside and get some things. But we will know that he is calling the hospital. So
Yeah.
news lady reads his mind and knows he's gonna call the hospital. So she goes up to a child who's sitting alone in a car and she goes, I need you to do a favor for me. Uh, and then we cut to boyfriend. He's in the store. He did call the hospital. He walks out of the store and his car's gone. And the child says, hey, mister, that lady told me to tell ya that she loves ya, but she's gotta go and she's sorry.
Isn't it also
Uh,
during this scene when she looks at him and she's like, you know what's the problem is that you think there's something wrong with me.
oh yeah, she does say that. But
And
there is
like
something severely wrong with
yeah,
her.
can we talk about how this movie wants us to think that this boyfriend is like a super evil asshole when really he's not at all? Like
Uh-huh.
she's literally acting insane. It makes
Mhm.
complete sense for somebody to be worried about her and want her to get medical attention, especially a loved one.
Yeah.
But I
But
guess he's
they
the
want
bad guy for that.
this poor actor, everything he's in, they're like, he's the villain.
Yeah, they're like,
Don't
you
worry, guys,
suck.
he's the villain.
But then
And
he's
he's
really
like
just
doing
a
completely normal
yeah,
things.
really he's just a good guy. But the music
Yeah.
and the script are like, no, dude, no.
Nah, he's evil.
He kind of has an evil look to him, but
He does have an evil look.
he's
Well,
good.
that's I
He's
think why
very
he gets
good at
casted as
portraying good actions as if they are evil.
it. Yeah. Um. Okay. So, what happens next? We cut back to Kilner, and what the fuck? Oh, he's on the phone with Hugo. And he's like, I can't remember certain parts of my childhood. What happened? And Hugo's like, we just need to keep going. There'll be no day like tomorrow.
Are you
And
gonna
he
tell
hangs up.
Hugo about the fact that Jane is possessed, or
Nah. So he hangs up, and then this time no one
I guess
destroys the
he
phone
wouldn't because he
because
wants to
maybe these
keep
aren't
Jane.
burners anymore.
He wants to keep Jane with him, maybe.
Yeah. But
Okay,
they don't destroy burners anymore, which is wonderful.
first
Uh
priority number one. As soon as we escape these fucking company people and we have somewhere to stay, blindfold. Priority number
yeah.
two. I'm tying you up, including your feet, so that you can't
Uh-huh.
do anything freaky with those. And you can't see.
Tarantino would be so upset.
And I'm not gonna tell. And I'm not gonna tell you any details about where we are, just like so that I can keep you with me, but you can't do anything to me, and you can't expose us.
Yeah. But that is not what will happen. I'll tell you what will happen, dear viewer. They are in a motel room, and Jane is in the bathroom cleaning up.
She's
Fair
just
enough.
walking around
Yeah.
free
So
as a bee.
Daniel's idea is instead of like blindfolding her, handcuffing her right now, he is going to hide all of the paraphernalia in this room that could like all the little pamphlets that say fun things to do in Sexville, Kentucky or whatever wherever the hell
I
they
can
are.
think of one fun thing to do in Sexville.
Does it
Actually, I can
involve
think of two or three.
what are the other two?
It's okay. You don't need to worry about it.
Oh,
But
this is gonna bother me now. You've broken my AI.
there's
Uh,
there's
so they're
yeah, those
hiding
those are reasonable
paraphernalia.
things to do. Yeah, you can hide the paraphernalia. That's fine. Do
There's
that.
like merch that has the name of the hotel on it. And so he gets rid of them. And then she comes out and she's like, you can't trust me for the night. You need to tie me up.
Good point. Now
Maybe that's
maybe
the other thing
more
to do in Sexville.
maybe more than just one like little hand tie.
So he
Maybe
ties one of her hands, right?
blindfold
Uh,
her.
why would he do that? He got rid of all the paraphernalia. But
Because you might have fucked
it
up.
dear viewer, there is a severe problem. He has gotten rid of all of the merchandise and paraphernalia that say the name of the hotel, except for one thing. The thing he is holding in his hand. He's holding it. He's holding a piece of paper that has the name of the motel. So when Jane gets possessed in the middle of the night, she wakes up and Mr. Man is looking around. He's like, oh, I can't see anything. And then he sees that name and he unpossesses. And they're immediately going to the motel.
It's so
So that's what happens in
it's
that
so
scene.
epic.
Yeah.
I would describe it as les epic.
Um so what happens next is all the bad men show up, of course. And they're like outside breaking into different hotel rooms looking. Kilner and Jane wake up, and so Kilner's like, "Shoot, they're after me. Here's what I'm going to do." And he gives the space dildo to Jane
Holy
and says,
fucking
"Run."
shit.
And then Jane leaves with the space dildo.
Why would you give it to her of
That
all
was his
people?
plan.
Why would you give it to her? She's the person who routinely gets
She's
possessed.
literally the only thing he could have done worse than this was to open his door and say, "Evil men, here is the space dildo. Take it." And
And
honestly, that probably would have been better because it
also,
might have gotten him to some safety.
they never take advantage of the fact that she has it. They never ever do. The company is never like, oh, he doesn't have it and she's not there. She probably has it. Let's possess her and figure it out.
It is
That never
tremendous.
happens.
Yeah. She will not show up for the rest of the movie until the very end.
Well, no, she
she's
does have
gone
one
until
scene.
the last scene. Oh wait, she does, doesn't she?
Yeah.
She goes to the nuns or
It's
something.
the nun.
Yeah, she calls the nuns
It's
later.
the nun scene.
But
yeah, she'll escape with the device.
We've let the possessed agent out into the field with the most powerful device currently on Earth, to our knowledge.
Yeah, it's a tough situation because, yeah, he really likes her and all that, but, like, you have to be like, okay, I'm going out the window with it, and you're following me if you have time.
And then
Because
the cops break into the room.
Do anything.
And Kilner starts throwing hands, bro. He fucking takes out like 2 or 3 police officers before they get him.
Yeah, the
Which
lab guy, dude.
I thought he was just a tech guy, but I guess he can fight
I'm not a
now.
field guy.
Maybe the movie's trying to tell us that if he was actually a field guy, he would have taken out all of them, even though they have
Oh,
guns.
the field guys are just that good.
Yeah.
Oh man, I wish I was as good as a field guy and all this kind of crazy stuff. Um,
Um, so then Evil Company Man shows up to interrogate Kilner because they don't
hang
want to
on.
kill him
Did they
anymore.
get
They
all
just
of
want
the
to
data?
interrogate him.
Did they get all of the data here?
Yes,
Oh,
they have all of the
that
data,
sucks. Do they ever? Does
and
Kilner
he's
ever get
like,
it back?
"Yes,"
How?
from the great scene that will happen soon.
Why would it
uh,
be accessible to him at any point that he could get it?
I'll tell you. Don't worry, dear. Don't worry, dear rat. I'll tell you the story. So, so Evil Company Man has showed up to interrogate him, and he's like, "You've been misled. Now you will tell me the name of the betrayer." Even though he knows he has the names of all the betrayers, but he's still asking for all the perpetrators' names and their locations.
Just
But
wait,
then news
dude.
we
You
cut.
already know. You already know all the people who didn't know Call No Show. Just use the device.
Yeah, but no. So, anyways, um, we
Yeah,
cut to
but no.
Margaret.
Okay.
We cut to Margaret driving on a highway, and then she stops because her compass is turned, and then she makes a turn to go the way that she's supposed to go. And then she arrives at the government facility, and she pulls up to she pulls up to the
Oh,
security gate in her Alfa Romeo, and she rolls her window down, and the guy's like, "You aren't supposed to be here. Who are you?" And she reads his name and she just gives some identification stuff. And he looks all surprised and he goes, "What are you doing here?" And she's like, "I'm here to see Evil Company Man." And he's like, "Oh, what's the pass of the day?" And she says, like,
what's
what
the?
do you remember what it was? It was like
I
Chips
don't.
Ahoy cookies or something.
It doesn't
And he lets
matter.
her go,
But this is
and she drives up to the next
this
one
is
and she
fucking
says Chips Ahoy cookies, and they let her in.
this is fucking stupid. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
here to like what? I could be like, oh, I'm here to see General so and so, and they'd be like, okay, let's call him real quick. Hey, do you have an appointment to see some lady? She hasn't given us her name or anything, but
Yeah.
she's here. In fact, if I was him,
Um,
I'd be like, yeah, actually, I did. Let her in, but just put some handcuffs on her first.
yeah. But it doesn't matter because she makes it in. And so she makes it to this place, gets out of her car, and walks right into the interrogation room because it's this little like it looks like the trailers that they give to movie stars in like TV shows, where it's like, "This is your trailer, you live here." It's literally one of those, but it's all kitted out on the inside to look like an interrogation room. So she gets in somehow, as a way that can only be described as fucking somehow. She gets in, and then Company Man looks at her and he's like, "You're
Yeah,
her."
she
And
just
there's
walks
then
in.
then the camera pans over to a video playing on loop of her going,
Yeah, making the noises.
which that's happening in the room for some reason. And she's like, "Yep, I'm her." Uh and then he looks at her and he starts to cry because and then he goes, "Jocelyn?"
Yeah, and
He sees
he
someone
sees his
named
wifey
Jocelyn.
poo, who I guess is
And then
probably dead.
an evil man grabs her and Company Man is like, "No, let her go about her business." And then she sets Kilner free and says, "I know you." And he says, "I know you too." And then they take the data and they leave. They
They
take the backpack of data
the
and they
backpack of
walk
data was
away.
just sitting there in the room with
And then a
them.
bunch of people go up to them and to stop her, and then they look at her and they make weird
No,
faces.
no,
And she
no. I'm
says,
not
like,
done. I'm not done with that yet. The backpack was just left there in the room with them.
"Yes,
Nobody took it, and like, why? Somebody would have.
yes,
They would. No,
no,
it's just sitting there. They're not cataloging it. They're not
no,
storing it somewhere safe.
no."
And then everybody just
So
lets
they
them walk
escape.
out with it. Oh my god.
So they escape. And as everyone runs up to them, she looks at them and says something along the lines of, like, "I forgive you," or "It's not your fault," or I wasn't actually mad at you. So she says things to people, and everybody gets stun locked.
Do you
Every
think
single
this?
person.
Do you think this would work? Like if your dead mom, your mom was dead, and you're like, oh, there's this intruder, and then you ran up to her, and suddenly she was your dead mom, and she was like, I forgive you for that time that you smashed my favorite plate. Would that like, would that work on stun locking you?
Well, it would scare me. However, I have a belief that I hold because of the Bible that if any sort of like dead person shows up to you, it is a spirit that is trying to disguise themselves as it's
Okay,
basically
well,
an
put
alien
yourself in
that's
the
trying to
shoes.
calm me.
Put yourself in the shoes
I'm
of these
unloading.
security
I'm
guards.
unloading on the spirit that's trying to trick me.
I might unload. I might
The Bible
unload.
says test the spirits, and I'll test the spirits with my fucking gun. Anyways, they escape. And evil man is like, isn't anyone going to stop her? And other evil man says, she's unstoppable. And so the other evil man, who has been basically not a character
Just
until
shoot
now,
her.
gets a gun. He grabs a gun. Smart thing. Then he chases after them. And then we cut back to Margaret and Kilner. And they're just driving back, having a jolly old time. And she starts reading his mind and is like explaining how she has mind control powers, and then she's like, some bird just showed up to me and everything's been different since then. And he's like, was it a cardinal? She's like, yeah. And he's like, I encountered one of those, and ever since I've known numbers perfectly. No one was friends with me after I knew the numbers, is basically what he
Yeah,
says.
because you're a fucking nerd. Nobody wants to be
Yeah.
friends with you, math nerd.
And then they stop at a train crossing because there's a train, and then the evil man, who has successfully snuck up on them in his giant black SUV on the very straight, flat, empty road, rams the back of their car. He has a gun, by the way. So he rams the back of their car and starts driving them towards. He starts
Yeah, the
He
one
starts
guy.
pushing them into the train.
Nobody went with him, by the way. It was just him. He's the only one from the company who's interested in stopping them.
Yeah.
He decides that instead of shooting through the back windshield or getting out of the car and walking up to them while they're stuck and shooting them then, or shooting out their tires, or you know, billions of options. He decides the best way to kill them is going to be to push them into the train and risk his own life while doing it.
So successfully, he drives their car into the train. And I don't understand the physics of this, but the car gets like the train reaches out and grabs the car and starts dragging the car along with the train.
Yeah, I don't know if that's how this. I think the train would probably derail, but I don't know enough, so I'll just go with the
I don't think the train
movies.
would derail. I think the car would just get eviscerated.
I
I think
think
they would
both would
become
happen
lunch meat.
at the end of the day.
Yeah.
The car would get destroyed and the train would probably get derailed.
I don't know if, because I guess,
I mean, train
because
derailments
like,
happen. Like they're not
yeah, but trains
exactly.
plow through cars all the time, right? Like people
No.
commit suicide by doing that. It's happened to people who get stuck in intersections. Trains just plow through cars. Maybe not like maybe
Yeah, but
not
the way
like,
that this one,
your Amtrak train,
it's
but
coming in at an angle right to the train track because the
was it?
guy's
I
pushing
guess I
it.
don't remember
The
that.
guy's pushing it, and they're turning the wheel, so it ends up coming in at an angle, and the train kind of snags it by the corner of the car, and then it just drags it along. And
I
I
don't know.
feel
Yeah,
like
so
if the car isn't collapsing, something's got to give. The train wheel's probably gonna get decoupled from the track in that
potentially.
kind of. But it doesn't matter. We'll
But
just go with whatever
that
the movie
doesn't
has for
happen.
this.
It drags the car away, and so they decide we're going to escape this by breaking through the windshield, getting on the hood of the car that is attached to the train, and they're going to jump from the car onto the ladder that's on the side of the train car so that they can climb on top of it.
He's pretty athletic
And
for a lab guy, tech guy.
yeah, and the lab guy does it because he is a field guy, but not actually. But
Field guy
Margaret
at
is
heart.
scared.
Lab guy in the streets, field guy in the
Yeah.
sheets.
uh, listen, man, Sexville changes you.
Yeah.
But she's like tries to get out of the car and her hand starts shaking because her dad has Parkinson's, and she's like, "Oh no, I'm having a Parkinson's attack. Parkinson's is attacking me." And then we cut to Hugo, and Hugo is with people, and he's in some kind of house giving them orders, and then he has like a device, I think, or something, and then he just goes, "Everyone out!" And then right when he says that and everyone leaves, Company Man takes over Hugo. Which,
It's
why wasn't this the first person you took over? I don't know.
yeah,
So
right. Clearly, this is an
yes,
option.
yeah. So he possesses Hugo, and Hugo's talking to him, and he's like, "Is Kilner an experiencer?" And Hugo's like, "Yeah," and he's like, "That's why I couldn't possess him." And then he's like, "The aliens told me to recruit him." And then Company Man's like, "If the aliens are telling you to do stuff, then you know it's not in our best interest. It's in the aliens' best interest." Um, and then we discover what the aliens do. And Hugo tells us the aliens have evolved far past us, and they have learned that the most important trait of a species is empathy, and their species relies on empathy to survive. Their entire society relies on empathy. Uh, okay, I guess. And
Whatever,
then
right? It's
Company Man
fine.
is like,
Sure, empathy.
"You betrayed me." Brr. And he's like, when did you lose your senses?" And Hugo's like, "It was the same time you lost your senses, when your wife died. You don't need to fear the aliens." And Company says, "I don't fear them. I fear us. And knowledge of the aliens will destroy the world. I'm just protecting people from the knowledge." And Hugo is like, "You're not protecting the people. You're just protecting wealth and elitism and power." And then Hugo does a speech about believing, and the people need to know the truth, even if the truth will hurt them. It's their right to know the truth. And then some intern walks through the door and blows the whole mission, and Company Man sees them, even though he would already know who they are, and he ends his
Yeah,
possession to go possess that person.
that scene is treated as like pivotal. It's not pivotal.
Because he already has, he knows their social security numbers, he knows their credit card information, he knows their bank account for direct deposit,
And he
he knows
could
their
just use
names.
the device to find them.
Yeah. But no, so then we cut to Jane, and she's in a bar, and she calls Reverend Mother Nun, and she's like, "Are we the only creation God's made that he loves?" And then the nun is like, "What do you mean?" And she's like, if it was proven to you that extraterrestrial life was real, would that shake your faith?" And the nun was like, "No. I know that we are the most supreme creation on earth. That's what the Bible says. But for all I know, there's more things out there, and that wouldn't point to anything other than that God created more things."
And I feel
Uh,
like this is the scene. This is the scene that's supposed to be the one where it's like, "This is really gonna shake your faith," because
yeah,
she's like, "Why would God make such a big universe only to like have us be the only important thing in it?" And like
yeah,
all of the Protestants and Catholics in the cinema probably all became atheists when that happened.
maybe. I bet they even became Satanists after that.
I
That's
know
how
I did.
shooketh I
I
was.
know I did. I was doing rituals,
uh,
dude. I was throwing baby blood in the middle of a pentagram after I watched this one. I was bathing in it. It was
um,
terrible.
but but Jane says, "If you were shown undeniable proof right now, would that change your belief?" And the nun says no, and the nun says, "Jane, you didn't lose your faith in God, you lost your faith in people." And Jane asks for some reason where Kilner went, and the nun looks it up on her computer. I guess.
What?
Yeah, that's what happens. Remember
Wait.
when that's where the joke came about when we were talking about what if the nuns have like play video games together and they're like in Call of Duty
Oh yeah.
lobbies.
I do remember that. But I didn't
Uh
remember. She just looks up where he is.
yeah.
How does that even? How? Why would that be on the internet? Why would that be available to look up?
Or no, I'm sorry. So
Kilner's location, dude. Just Google it.
I guess she asks there's like some specific location that he had mentioned to her that I don't remember. And
Maybe it's the news place because that's where she goes.
yeah,
For
I
some
think
reason,
that's what
she
it
knows to
was.
go there.
That's what it was. she says like, where did that weird lady in the news thing happen? Something along the lines of that,
Yeah,
because
maybe
she
she's
knows
trying to
Kilner is
find the
going there.
lady. She's trying
Yeah,
to
so
find
the nun
Margaret.
looks it up, and then we cut back to Kilner, and he's trying to help the Margaret get out. Wait, what the heck?
She's having the panic attack.
Oh, wait, I guess this scene already happened? Because I'm looking at a different scene
Are
that
your
happens
are your
later.
notes
So
flumbulated?
basically, the conclusion of the train thing is that she jumps out of the car and he gets her on the train right before another train runs into them, and then evil man is like shooting at them with a gun on a parallel road to the train track. But he runs out of bullets, and
I
then
need more
the
bullets.
road takes him a different direction. So they are safe from him. And when we cut back to them after the Jane scene, they are walking on the railroad tracks, and she's like trying to find out info about him, and he's like, as a child, a fox appeared to me, uh, and he's like telling her about this stuff, and then they see a fox in the road, and it does like weird alien things,
It's
but
an
then it
alien,
gets
just like the
ran
deer
off
from
because
earlier.
there is a fire truck, and out of the fire truck comes Santiago. He's back to rescue them, and so they get rescued,
And they
and
take
that's
them
what
to the
happens in that
warehouse.
scene.
And why didn't they just do this before? Why didn't Santiago just take him straight there?
Yeah. And then we get a scene of
I don't
company
know.
getting locked and loaded to go get Hugo and Kilner. And then we cut back to Kilner, and they've gotten to the place where Hugo is. And everybody gets off the truck, but Margaret's still on the truck because she's all weird and special and not like other girls. And then she finally gets off the truck, and she won't look Hugo in the eyes. And they're like, "Do you know who we are?" And she says everybody's name because she knows everything. Then they're in a warehouse, and there's a house. And then the news lady is all weird out, and Hugo's like, I hope we did it justice. We did as much as we could to get it right. And that's because they built a replication of her childhood home. That's kind of weird. Why would they do that?
They're trying to awaken
Yeah.
all emotions.
And then
Ye ol'.
she does a speech about, she's like, I this is not who I am. What are you guys doing? And then some lady walks up to her and gets on her knees and does a Hail Mary. And then Margaret freaks out, and she's like, I will not be your religion. I will not be your
I
religion.
don't know why.
I will not be your religion.
I don't know
And
what's
she
going
runs
on
away
at
into the
this point in the
house.
movie.
Yeah.
Are we like trying to do some kind of theme here? I
They're
feel like
trying to
there's
do a
nothing
theme.
here.
Well, they're trying to do the theme of like, maybe some people will make deities out of these people, right? But nobody actually cares because this movie was shit, and it didn't make me feel anything other than excitement for the movie to end. Um, so she's
Damn.
running through the house, and it's a replica of her childhood home, and Hugo follows her, and she's like, "Why did you build?" Or she's like, "Why did you build this?" And he's like, "We needed to connect you with your experience." Kilner's like, "Wait, what experience?" And he says, "The one you guys shared when you were children." And then he's like, "You have to think about that night your dad dies." And she's like, "No, I won't do it. I won't
I
do
hate
it."
being alive. I hate being alive. Obligatory reference.
And he's like, "If you have to do it if you don't want to be a passenger anymore, and if you want to be, the driver." So he's like, you need to let your empathy overcome you so that you can become more than just yourself. You need to accept your trauma and learn to live with it and not hide from it. That way you can accept your empathy powers. Um,
That's a good point.
and then Hugo explains Kilner is imbued with the understanding of the universe through math, and the lady is imbued with the power of understanding humans, and together they create an unbalanced OP as fuck group that should definitely be nerfed. Uh, and so Hugo hands them a space dildo, and they hold it together, and they go through their childhood trauma. And news lady is sitting in her bed singing a song, and then a deer walks up to her with a fox and a raccoon and a cardinal.
She's remarkably chill with this.
Yeah, and
As a
then
child,
another
dude,
thing
a
happens.
deer walks into my room in the middle of the night. I'm not cool with that.
Yeah.
Fuck off, you beast. You
So then
animal. Get out of
we
here.
see like
I guess that's why
parallel
they
to
didn't
that.
choose me, maybe.
Yeah, parallel to that, Kilner, he's experiencing the same things, and the animals lead them out of the house through the snow, even though the children have no shoes, which is a very irresponsible thing for the aliens to do. What if the children lose their toes? Toes are important. And then in the middle of the
Damn it,
woods is Hansel and Gretel
aliens.
house. And so they go inside the Hansel and Gretel house, and there's a floating bed inside of the house, and they get on. It's a probing room, and both the kids get in the bed, and then the animal aliens turn into real aliens, and the small children are there, and they get probed, but Kilner's scared before he gets probed, so Margaret's like, just let it happen. It'll all be over
Let
soon
it
enough.
happen. Let it happen.
And they hold hands as they
It's
get
gonna
probed
feel
together.
so good. Let it happen. Let it happen.
And now they're back in the real
It's
world, and their
always
powers have become
around
true
all this
powerful.
noise, but not nearly
Are you done?
as loud.
Are you done yet?
It's a 7-minute song, dude.
But this is when empathy has been unlocked. So now she can. Oh yeah, I missed a line earlier. Earlier, Hugo's like, "Why won't you look me in the eyes?" to Margaret, and she's like, "You're the guy who knows everything. I'm not ready to know everything," which is a funny line. And then, shut up!
I just wanted to see how long you can make it.
I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm losing it. I hate this so much.
You're already
This
at
movie
death's
is-
door. It's not that
Dude,
bad, man. There's no reason
this
to be
is-
this angry.
It's just torture. It's torture.
I don't know about torture. I've
Well,
seen
the
much
pro-
worse movies, alright?
The main problem is that I know what we get to film after we're done with this, and I'm so excited to
gonna be way
record
more
that.
fun.
So I am like, I can't handle
mean,
this movie.
There's not a ton to criticize in this sequence, really. It is really just like... if the rest of the movie was good, this part, I guess, could have been pretty good, you know?
Yeah,
But it's not.
it's just all like,
unfortunately.
okay, things are happening because it could be something somewhat interesting, but because of everything else that's happening in this movie, it's more like, well, this scene will be over soon, and we get to
Yeah.
watch the cars crash into each other.
The
in a second.
context surrounding it is not great.
Well, actually, I think the scene that's going to happen next is the strongest scene. So the first thing she does is she says, like, she looks at Hugo in the eyes and she says, "It's nice to know you finally." Which instead of saying it's nice to meet you, she says it's nice to know you because she can read minds. But then the company arrives. They are outside. So basically what happens is
here we
Margaret
go.
Margaret is like,
I don't know
to
why you
escape
think this is the strongest scene, because
it's hilarious.
it is funny, but it's not a good
It
scene.
made me-
There's some serious issues.
It put a smile on my face. So basically she's like, I'm gonna use the space dildo to put a space cloud that will make us look invisible. So that when company breaks into the warehouse, there will be no house. It will be an empty warehouse. And it works. So company breaks in and the house is invisible. And everybody has to like escape, and Margaret's basically like, listen, the space dildo, like, we're all invisible, but the space dildo's glowing. So they're gonna see this and they're gonna try and get us. So we all need to escape. So as everybody's escaping, she's using the space dildo to guard it. And we get like an old 70s like slapstick comedy bit where all of the soldiers start like running into the warehouse,
Yeah.
but they're like crashing through the window of the invisible house and like falling over things. One of them like runs into a door, and then the door just like falls forward comically as the person like is glued to the door.
This is the part.
It's just so ridiculous.
This is the part where we said we need a sassy black lady to be with the heroes and commentate over this scene.
My God, I have never seen something so stupid.
Oh, you done fell over the couch, boy!
And then what makes it even better is like there's people like laying on the floor after they like fall through the wall, and then the invisible people like pick them up and walk off.
Yeah, they just
And
take them.
everybody on the other side of the warehouse is just like, oh my God,
All right.
what's
For
happening?
the record, all of these soldiers have machine guns.
Oh yeah, they have guns.
They should consider firing, maybe. I know it's
Yeah,
not, their friends are that direction. That's not exactly proper firearm safety, but like you're fighting invisible aliens. I don't know. Might be
yeah.
worth considering just laying some grazing fire.
And so but don't worry because all of the good guys escape into a fire truck, and then the invisible fire trucks drive out, and then the device is no more
It's
as it
it dissolves,
dissolves.
but there is the hilarious like the ghost fire truck that drives around the
Yeah.
city. Like that became somebody's campfire story. I guarantee
Yeah.
it.
That was like that
It was like a
people have been
horror.
talking about that in Kansas City for the past like 6 months.
Not exactly a horror, but like a town, little local town ghost story, dude. You
Yeah.
see the water spray up, and you hear the siren, but you don't see the fire truck. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. It's like a like little urban
Uh,
legend.
so, they arrive to the news place and they like crash through the doors and they're like, "We're I am the captain now. We need to do a special broadcast." Uh My notes say Kilner gets videos uploaded to the news Filmora. Which, yeah, that's what happens. He goes to the editing room and he uploads all of the space information to the news. And then,
They're better than that. They'd have like Premiere Pro or something.
yeah.
Da
And
Vinci.
so everybody's like, for some, they like instantly convince them that they have to do this broadcast. And then that one lady, the makeup lady from long ago, who in the beginning of the movie, Margaret was like, it's time for you to call the cops. She comes up and she's like, thank you so much. I finally called the cops. He won't be hurting us anymore. And Margaret's like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy for you. And then she says, do you want some makeup? And Margaret says, yes, please. Uh, and then, dude, this scene is such a strange series of events. So basically, Margaret starts the news media thing, and she's like, "Today is disclosure day." She says the thing. Uh,
Which I
and
thought was
like
pretty funny.
as they're starting the broadcast, company gets there, and company starts like they invade the electrical room and they like turn off the power. But they're like, "Don't worry, the emergency backup generator will turn on soon." But then the company turns off the emergency backup generator.
Fuck.
No, fuck. So then company invades the room, and but then as they're stopping the broadcast and they're about to shut this system down, uh, Jane runs in. Jane's back. She runs in and she hands the device to Margaret, the space dildo.
Yeah, this is like, how did she get in here? How did she happen to get in here in time? How did she know? I guess she just guessed that she should go there. How it took her a long time to get here compared to everything else that was happening in the movie. I feel like she would have
Yeah,
beat them here. I guess we don't
but
know where she was,
it's great that she arrived perfectly on time.
and she just is
And
able
she
to
gives
walk
this,
through all of the
yeah.
company to get to her freely.
And instead of anyone like stopping her or being like, okay, we need to shoot Margaret now, uh,
Also, how does she know
after
that
Margaret,
Margaret is the person to give that to?
stop asking questions, dude. You're not allowed to question it. It's Steven Spielberg made this, dude. You don't
He didn't
understand.
write it though. The guy who wrote Jurassic World Rebirth wrote it.
So Margaret gets the space dildo, and immediately company man is like, "Well, everybody can go home now. It's over." And he just sits down. He sits in a chair to watch the broadcast. And the other evil company man is like, "Aren't you gonna stop her?" And he's just like, "Nope, it's over." So all the company people leave. That's the end of that
Yeah,
conflict.
why? Why?
Uh,
Why
so
does this
then
happen?
News lady gets back on the broadcast. She turns the power on with the space dildo and she says, "For 80 years, they've been hiding it from us. This is disclosure day." And then we get a montage of them playing videos of different alien encounters, spaceships, different news providers picking up the story, and everybody sharing it. Uh, yeah. And then the movie ends. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So the broadcast
Yeah,
happens,
you
right? They're
forgot
sharing all
about
of it.
our
And
little
then the most
friend
important part is they wheel in uh not what's the president's name who was crippled? What's his name?
FDR.
FDR. FDR comes in a wheelchair. Hugo's wheeling him in, but it's not FDR. It's an alien. And the alien's in the wheelchair. And then Kilner and Margaret walk up to the alien. The alien stands up, whispers in their ear, and then the movie ends.
Well,
So,
she looks at the audience and she's like, "Listen," and then we're basically left to interpret, I guess, as the audience what it would have been that she said.
yeah.
Which, what do you think it was?
So,
Just for the fuck of it. I think I have an idea, but I want to know
My
yours.
name is Zuperton from planet Zorpington. I'm here to destroy you.
I'm still to destroy. Yeah, I reckon it was probably some message like, there's a reason they were showing all that war stuff happening. I think the ending of the
yeah.
movie is basically that the reveal of the aliens instead of collapsing society, it's the reveal of like, hey, we come in peace. um,
You're so much smaller than you think you are. None of this really
yeah, just
matters.
like have empathy for one another, and then it'll stop the
Nothing
war.
really matters.
Basically, is what I think
Yeah.
happens here.
So here's my pitch for my Disclosure Day film. Aside from the Disclosure Day that we are making, it's not called Disclosure Day
It's
and
it's
has
just
nothing
not
to do with
even.
Disclosure Day.
It's just not
But
even that
anyways,
movie.
this movie would be a great movie if you wrote it in a good way and it started right after this broadcast and it showed all the ramifications of a society who
Oh,
discovered their entire understanding of the universe was wrong.
that would just be
That
a
would be
that would just
really
be a
cool.
completely different movie. I like what you said earlier a few seconds ago, where you're like, this movie would have been a great movie if it was written well. Yes,
It's probably true.
I agree completely. There's kind of a cool concept hidden underneath this. You could almost make a series of stories. You can make this. This is the one about the disclosing of the information, and then the next one is like, oh, this is about the fallout. But whatever. This movie is not good. I think I've been convinced that it is probably more around the three territory. I still don't think it's as bad as Mandalorian and Grogu. I don't
I
think
think it is
that's.
on the same par.
I think it's maybe in the same tier, but this is like a high three.
So here's my confusing take, right? If I am saying how would I rate my enjoyment of these films? Obviously, I enjoyed Disclosure Day more than I enjoyed Mandalorian and Grogu. However, I would rather, if I had to pick, go see Mandalorian and Grogu again than go through Disclosure Day.
Why?
Because here's the
Why?
thing.
They
Here's the
they're
thing.
Mandalorian and Grogu is miserable, dude.
I know that you shouldn't let, things people say about movies affect your stance on the movie. However, I'm a very emotional person. And like when we made the Backrooms video, Backrooms 5 out of 10. I hated it much more after seeing all the people talking about how incredible it was and how awful the community around that movie was and how they're just like assholes.
You're
It's
dumb.
just a
You're
yeah.
stupid. Yeah.
This movie is just it's not that there's not really anyone who enjoys this movie out there. I don't think those people exist. Um However, the the idea of this movie and like the reasoning behind making this movie was so absurdly pretentious that I can't think about this movie without just becoming filled with rage at Steven Spielberg for being such a pretentious asshole. And like, this is going to be the greatest script I've ever been a part of. This is the greatest project I've ever worked on. It's going to shake the faith of the entire world. It's like someone needs to make you watch your own movies. I don't know if he's ever watched his own movies because most of them are unbearable.
Oh, uh, uh, no. What are you talking about?
We already talked about like most of the movies that he's made aren't very
You're getting
good and
confused again. You're getting
haven't
confused
been
again.
good
We were
for a
talking
long
about
time.
the writer. Most movies from Spielberg are pretty good. Jaws, incredible.
He
Raiders of the Lost Ark, pretty good.
okay,
E.T.
so
is
I'll
fine. Schindler's List, Jurassic Park, Saving Private Ryan. I haven't seen Catch Me If You Can. I haven't seen Minority Report. I haven't seen Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Catch Me If You Can is a not bad movie.
He hasn't been
He
doing
also
great
made
lately.
he also made, you know, the second and third Jurassic Park. He made Jurassic World Rebirth. He made Jurassic World. He made Jurassic Park 3. He made Jurassic World: The Fallen Kingdom and Dominion, and he made like he also like doesn't write
I mean,
his scripts.
he's made a lot of movies that aren't great, but he's also made a lot of movies that are great. So
Okay, I guess it's
it's
fair to it. I concede on the point that I was making. He is like many directors, where they have a mix of fine movies or good movies and a mix of bad movies.
yeah,
I
it's
still think he
like,
is
can you call somebody a great director if half of their movies are bad? I don't think
like he
so.
made War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise, by the
Not as
way.
bad as War of the Worlds with Ice Cube, at least.
True.
But
Uh,
yes, War of the
like,
Worlds not great.
but if he also made, you know, he still made all the Indiana Jones movies, including the new ones, and there's really only one of those that's good.
So for a thought experiment, that looks like three good Indiana Jones movies. But for a thought experiment, all right, you said earlier that the person who wrote the script for this movie said they wanted it to be their best script,
No, Spielberg wanted it to be the best script ever.
but he didn't write it.
That's what Spielberg says. Yes, Spielberg told David Cope, the guy who wrote the script, he said, this needs to be my biggest, my brightest, my best script yet.
Okay. Well, at any rate, I still want to do this. I want to pull up David Cope's library of work, and I want to see if this script is better than anything
Well,
else
I
he's
think
made.
what I think is that this writer guy he just writes for Steven Spielberg.
Okay, well, pull up his list of things he's written. David Cope,
So obviously he wrote Jurassic Park.
except that was
He
based on
wrote
a book,
Mission
so I don't really.
Impossible.
Okay, Mission Impossible is better than Disclosure Day.
Yeah, he wrote, you know, all of the Indiana Jones movies. He wrote Jurassic World Rebirth.
Jurassic World
Um,
Rebirth is probably worse than Disclosure Day.
okay, I'm gonna read a bunch of things off that I don't
Probably.
know what they are. Cold Storage,
I
Black
don't know
Bag,
anything about it.
Presents, Timmy, You Should Have Left, The Mummy,
The
Inferno,
Mummy.
Lego
The
Jurassic
Mummy's
World,
probably better than
Jack
Disclosure
Ryan,
Day. Jack
Jack
Ryan's
Ryan
better than
Shadow Recruit,
Disclosure Day.
Premium Rush, The Little Engine That Could, Lego Indiana Jones 2,
The
Angels and
video
Demons,
game?
Ghost Town, yeah, the video game, Zathura, War of the Worlds, Zathura again, Hack, Secret Window, the other Jurassic Park and World movies. He wrote the first Spider-Man, Panic Room, Stir of Echoes, Snake Eyes, The Trigger Effect, The Shadows, Suspicious, The Shadows, The Paper, Carlito's Way, Death
Okay,
Becomes
okay,
Her,
it's
Toy
fine.
Soldiers.
It's fine. We don't need to keep going. There's so many things. I was trying to
Yeah, so
compare them, but I didn't even have time to compare them because you were reading them so fast.
yeah. The best thing he has written is Jurassic Park at an 8.2.
Jurassic Park is
It
by
looks like
far the best thing on that list. And then the first
everything
three Indiana
else
Jones movies are pretty good.
everything else on his list is below like a 6.5. There, you know, there's some 6.7, 6.8, 6.6, but it's like
Oh, you're
it's
talking about
in the
IMDb
5.
scores. I thought you were talking. I don't
Yeah.
care about the IMDb scores at all.
Well, that's what I'm just going off of those right now.
Mission
They're
Impossible is
all
probably
like
rated pretty high. I bet. I give it like a. It's like a 6. Mission Impossible falls into that category of 6 films. I think.
how do you rate Jurassic Park?
Jurassic Park's like a. Oh man, it's been a long time since I've seen it, but like
It's
I
like 8.5,
instinctively
9,
give it like an
probably.
8. Yeah, I think it's like
It's a
a
good
really
movie.
good execution of like a pretty simple idea, which is an
Yeah.
8. Yeah, excellent execution, not doing anything crazy.
Yeah.
It's good,
I guess
but
it
like I
could be
said, it's been a
argued
long
that
time
it
since I've
was
seen it.
crazy for its time. Like
Not
it was
really.
pretty insane for its time,
I mean,
right?
how like the special
Mostly,
effects? Yeah, I'm talking about the story though.
yeah.
Like the story wasn't anything like. It's not like you're
I guess I
watching
don't
a.
really know anything about the movies that came out back then. What movies were coming out in the 1990s?
I mean, it. You can.
I guess that's like Predator era,
The story
right?
of Jurassic Park isn't exactly revolutionary.
Yeah.
It is they go to a park where they use science to bring back dinosaurs, and they have to escape the
Yeah,
dinosaurs.
it's pretty straightforward.
And it's really well done. So yeah, 8.
Yeah, it's solid.
But it's been a while since I've seen it. It might not be as good as I remember, but maybe I don't want to find
I
out.
think it's pretty good. Yeah.
Jurassic Park, yeah, good movie.
Jurassic Park. Go watch that movie. Don't watch Disclosure Day.
It's in Jurassic Park is shorter too.
Yeah.
You'll be done
And-
with it earlier.
You can watch it like twice.
All
And
right,
you won't
well-
even realize that you watched it twice.
I got nothing else to say about this.
I got
movie.
nothing else to say either. I'm so happy we're done with it, and I don't have to ever think about it again until I
Yeah.
watch this video.
I don't know if I'm gonna watch this one. I don't really care about it. It doesn't really matter.
This ranks among the less passionate videos I've made.
It's
I
more so
liked
we saw
making-
this because it's a big deal that Steven Spielberg put out
Yeah.
a movie this year, and that's
Like
pretty
Mando
much...
and Grogu, similar level of not enjoying talking about it. Backrooms, at least, we were very passionate about how bad that movie was.
I enjoyed talking about Mandalorian and Grogu. I thought it was very funny. I did get
It
to a
actually
point
was
though
very
where I
funny.
was like, I was finished.
This video is just going to be us arguing for hours.
Yeah, we got hostile, dude. We got we got very angry with one another today.
We did.
All right, well, I'm gonna hang up the old phone then, and we can get ready for
Let's do it.
the next
For
objective.
round 2.
All right.
Goodbye.